All right, welcome everybody.
George Bush people.
You know what? We're leaving that in, and that's actually a good representation of today's episode.
It's a representation of my high school memories.
Okay.
2004.
Yep.
Katrina.
Sure Katrina, yep.
Awful tragedy.
Very unlike today's episode, which is not an awful tragedy.
No, it's not an awful tragedy. Why is that?
Ben Strok and Aaron Webb on of Wigeon.
Hell yeah.
And they just released a new album, self-titled, called Wigeon. And
kind of redundant, but yes, keep going.
So it was a great interview. We had a lot of fun talking to them about the recording process and everything that led up to releasing the album.
Sure.
And then we got into some pretty heavy spaces, I will say.
As we do with Ben Strok.
Yeah, always.
Our favorite repeat guest, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The bottom line news segment got heavy, but still topical, I would say. And then unpopular opinions kind of went on. I kept on that.
Stay
theme.
heavy again.
No, I kept in that theme. and yeah, then I think we cleared it up with some levity at the end there. So we hope you enjoy the episode.
We made it lighter.
That's what levity means, Bill.
I know.
So before you check the episode out, we just want to say we have merchandise available in the links in the description. Make sure you check that out. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Anything that you guys do in that regard helps us grow this thing and just keep the dream alive. So we appreciate all the support. And so at this point, we will say enjoy the episode. Here we go.
New episode of Bottom of the Bill starts right now.
This is Bottom of the Bill, where we talk about the modern grind of a musician.
Album cycle.
Oh, hold on, Bill. Give me a second, man. Because we don't know what we're talking about.
Spotify playlist.
You keep interrupting me. That's not how we discussed it. Just give me a second, man. We invite established artists
Festival lineups.
Can I just get my stuff out real quick? We invite established artists on to share their strategy to success.
Marketing strategies.
The premier do-it-yourself podcast.
Hashtag DIY.
Ah, screw it. This is Bottom of the Bill.
Guys, welcome back to the podcast. We have the Wigeon boys in the house. We got a few of the Wigeon boys in the house anyways, not all of them, but
Hola.
how's it feel?
Feels good.
I think you're the next, you and John Ward have the highest appearances on the show.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, we're in good company with Mr. Ward.
Yeah, for sure.
Technically, John's got more, but
Yeah.
one of them didn't make the cut.
Yeah, because Gene crashed the episode. So.
Well, he was just working it, but I wouldn't blame him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And now we got Aaron Webb back as well.
Good to see you again.
Hola.
Aaron.
It's nice and comfortable now. He's got his shoes off. And he's just
Crocs off.
just hanging out.
Yep.
Crisscross applesauce on the couch. Dig it. I like it. So what's been going on, guys? You have an album coming out now?
Oh, yeah. It's out Monday.
It was out Monday. Yeah.
Out Monday, the 24th.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk about it. How is it doing right now?
I have no idea.
You have no idea.
It's out. That's how it's doing.
Yeah.
It's seen the light of day.
It's
so that's
number
great.
99 on Billboard.
Yeah, that's right.
We just missed the bottom of the bill.
The whole album?
I'm just kidding.
The whole thing. The whole
Yeah.
thing.
All
Yep.
7 songs.
That's right.
That's pretty good.
So how's it feel now that it's finally out? It's been a long time coming, man.
Yeah, it feels awesome. We've been talking about it, I think, on all those.
Yeah.
all
Like,
those
For 2
appearances.
years now, yeah.
you could watch
Yep.
all 3 of these episodes at once and watch the
You can watch the progression and see all the different things I've said about it
Yeah.
and realize how none of it is true.
Yeah.
4 people saying it's close.
It's so close, we swear. No, it's good. It feels good to have it out. It took forever to get it out. And we kept trying to work it and work it and work it. And then probably under, I guess this is great advice for Bottom of the Bill, under a very, very rigorous release schedule. About a month ago, I was like, no, we're putting it out now. And so obviously we put a lot of strategy into that, and we just got it out
album
into the world.
cycles,
Yeah,
album cycles.
exactly. The album cycles.
Yeah.
And then we got it out. Yeah, and then we got it out. So really happy to have it in the world. It was a long time coming. We spent a lot of time, messing with it, recording, having fun with it, and then we're excited to, get that thing out to where people can hear what we were working on.
So I'm curious. I don't remember our exact last conversation that we had when you were here, but I'm curious as to if maybe you know what we talked about exactly, and if there's what's changed since that last conversation.
Oh, probably so much.
Yeah.
It would be hard to even recall. I'm gonna go back and listen now just to see like how much of an idiot I was. I probably thought it was so close. No, a lot has changed, right? So we started it around, when did we start it? During COVID at some point? Or was it right before?
I think we started it at the end of 2019 and beginning
Okay.
of
So right as COVID was going on, we were starting to work on it. So, you know, it's been going on a while and a lot has changed. So like I went from, like when I started my music journey, I know one of the things we talked about before was just kind of like how I started doing recording and stuff. And I hadn't taken it like too far. And so in COVID, I was like, well, this is definitely like a weak spot in the things that I do musically I want to get better at. So I use this as an opportunity to zero consequence, you know, just kind of have free range to mess with stuff. And so much has changed from when I started to what I'm doing now to what I'm experimenting with. And that's part of what took, I think, so long getting it out. Because it's one of those things where you have this project and these songs you really love. And we did all the recording on it. And then I was kind of learning as I was working with these tunes.
Right.
And so I'm always wanting to apply something that I've been interested in or I've been reading about or I've been listening to an artist or a track. And I'm like, oh, the way they did XYZ, you know, was awesome. Let me see if I can incorporate those things. So I was learning a lot as I was doing mixing and mastering on it, or we were doing parts on it or different things. So on the one hand, it's really neat because there's some of that evolution in the tunes, but that was also what was really hard, I think, for me trying to mix and master it to actually put it out. I was talking before we got started, like that was one of the biggest hurdles was because I wanted to try to get, as so much time passed, like try to get each track to kind of feel super cohesive. And I finally realized that I was only going to be able to do so much of that because I've put in so much learning, which is kind of a cool aspect of the album, I think, because you can hear, hopefully, all of the music and what we were doing and what we were learning as musicians, but also learning about building this stuff. So it's very reflective of like a lot of experimenting and growth, which our music is very experimental and continues to grow and change and evolve. So it's actually a cool capsule of all that.
You said you started recording it in like 2019, right?
Yeah.
And it just came out
It just came out.
on Monday.
Yep.
So that's 3 years, right?
Pretty close.
Almost,
I mean,
But when you were talking about like the experimental growth and everything like that, were you like recording one song and then like 6 months later recording another song, or how did
no.
that
So
go?
so most of them were all done. Like the actual tracking of everything was done pretty close together.
2020.
Yeah,
We finished all the tracking.
Yep.
Oh, I
Yep.
see.
And that was really in like the middle. I mean, we were probably done in 2020 by the summer. And then the first way we did recording for like the drum kit and stuff, when I was mixing and mastering it, I ended up not really digging it very much. So having a really hard time getting it to fit. And so then we worked with a great guy. You may know him. His name is Chris. He's pretty cool. Chris Underdahl.
He's all right.
Yeah, he's okay. And he was kind enough to say, hey, you know, we'll do some tracking, you know, at his studio. So we went there and tracked the drums there with Brandon. So then we went back and readdressed all the drums. And then that forced other changes, right? And so then we went back in and did more parts and all that kind of stuff. And everything on the vocals at that point were all scratch vocals, right? So then went back in and started putting vocals in. And then that forced some changes, right? And then we wanted to go back and try to, you know, mess with and play with space and sound, and that forced additional recording. So like a lot of the core of the songs were done,
Yeah.
and then we started building as we added things in, right? The periphery kept changing.
It's so difficult to write and record a song in that kind of jam band feel, especially like when they're like
Yeah.
7 minutes. Like, how did you like tackle that? Because I've had to be there before, like being like, we want this to sound like it's improv or a jam or something like that. Yeah. How did you
Yeah.
go about that?
It was tough. I mean, in the bands I was in before, we always did everything when we recorded just live, right? So it wasn't even like to a metronome, or if we were in the studio, we had the click in our ear, but how close everyone was like paying attention to that varied a lot.
Right.
And at the end of some of the last more serious projects I had, we started really working with a metronome. And actually, Sean was big on always trying to lean into using a metronome.
Who's
And
Sean?
Yeah, Sean.
I haven't seen
I had
him in a
to
while.
I had to be so intentional not to say Baba.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he was into that, and then I got more and more into the idea, and I was taking practice a lot more serious. So then I was doing a lot of practicing with a metronome, and then it made me kind of fall in love with that approach more, opposed to just live. Like I love both, and performing music is definitely my first passion with music.
Yeah, me too.
But kind of going into the freedom that going from a very structured route actually gives you later is cool, right? Because you can go in theory, right? I can deconstruct entire arrangements and recompose them. And if I'm to a metronome, I've got a very solid place I can experiment from very safely.
Yeah.
Like I can pull entire sections out. I can say, oh, I like this song, except really the bridge, I don't like the way it sits here. I'm going to move it.
Right.
You know, and you can really play with form in post-production,
Right.
which to me is like a one thing. So trying to make that feel, I think having the spirit of like that song is super important. But if you can try to softly fold those two things together, I think that's a cool place in the art to play with.
No, it's extremely hard to do, and you played it off really well. Like,
Well, thanks,
you
man.
showed me, like I think the last podcast, or maybe it was 2 podcasts. You were working on "Let Me Fade," and it was almost pretty much done.
Yeah.
But I had to listen. I was like, not ironically, listening to this whole album last night. I really was.
Oh, man.
And we had no idea you were going to be on tonight. And I was just like, yeah, that's I've just been there before, and it's like the hardest damn thing to do to make it sound like you're jamming and everything. But you did a really good job.
Well,
of that.
thanks, man.
Especially
It helps
on that
having
song,
no
for sure.
pressure. Like doing it the way we did, like on our own time, and we did it completely ourselves, you know, like with some help, obviously, different studios, like, but having no like sense of like we have to go to this place and we have X amount of days or we have X amount of dollars, and having to stretch like anything, like you said, it was almost 2.5 or 3 years or whatever, however long it was. You know, you can let stuff sit. Like I would leave mixes sit for a while, you know, like months, and come back and play with it. And if I liked it, I would either move it forward or go back to a previous version, and then play with what took the longest, I think, was starting to play with, you have the core songs. I was actually talking to Chris about this earlier. Like you have the core sound and kind of songs, and then go back in post-production and kind of fill those spaces out. So there were things that either were working really well or maybe were dragging a little, and you could make decisions about like, do you keep those things or do you augment them with other, like it was a cool idea to say, I can go in and I can put other guitars in there, a la Hendrix or something, right? Or I can go and Max could put in other synths and keys and kind of stuff to play with that space.
When in doubt, put a pad in.
Yeah,
You're just
you
gonna
know.
cover everything.
Yeah, I just put it all in. But to play with it
Duct
was
tape
cool.
of production right there.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So the freedom and the time to play with it,
Yeah.
and the no pressure. Like we're, you know, I think you would probably say the same thing, right? We have a unique relationship with each other, and we have a very patient approach to what we're doing as a band. I think because we all just love it so much, right? Like Brandon and Aaron have other projects they play in. Max has other projects he plays in. I do a lot of different like solo stuff and recording and different things, and so we have a lot of patience, I think, built into our model or our approach. So there's not the rush or the maybe, I don't want to say pressure, but maybe some kind of urgency that probably a lot of folks have when they're in that project trying to do that thing.
Right.
Like we live in a world, I think we're really lucky to live in a world outside of that. It's like when you have those friends and you call that friend that you haven't talked to in a while, it's like you literally see them all the time. It's kind of that relationship, and we're not that distant. Like, right, we're practicing consistently and playing, but our attitude or something about it is relaxed like that or something. I don't know.
No, I know exactly what you mean. It's like there's other things that kind of keep the creative juices going for everybody, and then when it makes sense to do this, you guys do it, and then you do it at your maximum ability, because it's like, you know, you're doing it because you truly love it, and there's no pressure of like, well, we have to get this album out by this time. You know, there's no like gatekeepers to answer to. There's no nothing. It's just that you're doing it because you want to do it.
We could probably use a few things. Like maybe we need a little more pressure, right? Like maybe we need a publicist or like a release cycle. Like, you know, some strategy would probably help
Album
us.
cycle, yeah,
would
yeah.
probably help us in some ways. But in the other ways, you know, we're like a crock pot, right? We're not a pressure cooker. And for us, I think that works. Like every group has its own thing that makes it work, and hopefully the album is reflective of that.
For sure. Yeah. And what was like for you, Aaron, with this whole process of like balancing, like being on the road with Firewater, and then I mean, it was Custard Pie, I think, was still kind of at it for a bit when you guys started the record too, right?
Yeah, we started the record in the beginning of 2020, and we were together, and then Custard Pie disbanded, and then we basically just kept doing the album, and that was honestly before things really amped up with Firewater, so we got most of the album done at least I did, and then I know Brandon did it first, but he had to go back with Chris and redo it. But honestly, I was nervous at first. I'd never played with a metronome. I'm like, a little bit of that, oh no, it's going to be out forever, do the best you can, et cetera,
Sweaty
et cetera.
hands.
Sweaty hands,
Yeah.
I definitely flubbed a bunch on a couple tunes, but then like by the end of it, I was like, man, that's pretty good. That's just what the song needs.
Yeah.
And then I, as Ben was like tweaking them and playing with them and stuff, he'd send it to me, and I'd be like, man, that's great. And then he'd be like, I put it in the car, but I got to go back. God, I tried to listen to it in the car, and it's not doing what I want it to do.
Yeah.
And there was just I like experienced his like he came and sat on my couch, like, man, let me. I'm sitting there with all right, so how's that make you feel, Ben? That kind of thing, because he was going through a bunch of hoops and a lot of learning curves. And, I mean, he was a white belt when he started, and he's probably, he's closer to black. We'll say
Brown.
that. Like
I'd say brown.
Brown, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely
But
brown.
a solid brown.
A solid brown.
Solid
That's good.
I mean,
Getting my fiber, dude.
real walnut tinge to it.
That's right.
Yeah.
compared to my fucking
A rich
production
mahogany.
skills, you're a sensei, bro.
Oh no, it's got so far to go. But that's what was cool. You learn so much. Like I forced myself to try to figure it out, and I don't think I've got it all. Obviously you spend your whole life in that realm. People do, right? Very little time compared to that. But it's also fun, right? It's like just like playing where there's like a really high ceiling you can keep trying, and it makes you appreciate like a lot of other music.
Yeah. Totally.
Hearing like what people are capable of putting together.
You picked up another instrument, basically.
Yeah, it is like picking up a whole. Yeah, man.
Yeah. I'm going to start over on guitar, except it's engineering.
Right.
That's one question I wanted to ask about recording an album yourself. How do you know when you're done? When you're finished?
Well, after about
Sorry,
3
steak
years,
is done. When
after
you're
about
finished.
after about 3 years, you just go, well, the hell with it, right? I mean, it's
That's
done.
that
It's
was
done.
it, all right.
That's kind of the point that it came to. I was like, well, I could sit on this forever. Like that was that thing I kept coming back to. Is I wanted to get each track to feel very much like the other ones, like they were all referenced together or something. Like very complete. And I just realized, hey, that was this is for me, like when I look back on it outside of the music, right? We could talk and we should probably talk about those things, but for the process part of it, I just look back and realize like this is all this growth, right? Is what I'm hearing. And in a certain way, I don't want to eliminate that because when I'll listen back to it, which I don't want to listen to it right now. But when I listen back to it, I think that's what I'll hear, right? I'll hear, these are the things that I was learning or figuring out what to do. It's like when you listen back to your parts,
Yeah.
and you go, oh man, I would have done this or whatever.
Totally. Yeah. I mean,
I guess how do you know when any album is finished?
Well, that's what I'm
if you have
saying.
unlimited money and time and everything like that, like, all right, now it's finished. It's finished now.
that's what I'm saying. It's like their music and art in general is so subjective, and it's always just a choice, and that goes down to the note that you're playing.
That's right on.
It's literally like you just decide this is what I'm gonna do, and then you do it, and that's the same for when the album is done. You listen to every pop album out there, and for all the production value and all that stuff, and the flawless performances that happen there, it's the artist at the end of the day says, "This is done. Sorry, this is finished, Bill."
Yeah, that's all right.
And then
Unless
that's
you're
what
cooking, if you're cooking, whatever.
that's what you hear in the radio. There is no like metric where it's like, okay, does it reach this standard? Here's the objective standard. Have we hit it? The bell rings and we're done.
Yeah.
Nope, there's none of that. It's just somebody listens to it and says, I believe that this is a finished product and it's ready for the world.
'Cause
And
you can
that's what you hear.
always remix, right?
Especially with the pop music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. That's
Well,
the whole point of it at this
Pop
point.
music.
Well, I think that's how I felt about it. I mean, I felt like, hey, this tells the story about like
this time period.
Exactly, this time period, who we are, what we want to say, or what we were trying to say for that collection of things. And then, yeah, you're right, it's like a choice. Because that was the other thing, too, is like we write a ton. And so, this backlog of writing just keeps growing behind us, right? And that's probably the only pressure. Like, we didn't have a financial pressure or deadline pressure or, somebody that helps facilitate our career giving us kind of pressure. We just had this backlog of other stuff that we really want to do that's now representative of what we're doing now. Right?
Probably the saving grace of the whole thing, though, right? Because, I mean, having a backlog of material is super important.
It's cool, yeah.
You
And it doesn't, we're not like, it's bad, like we're not trying to push that either. And so that stuff's just growing, in the garden, right? While we're tending this other crop, and now we can like turn around and see what this harvest will look like, right? Because that stuff's been growing under care, because it hasn't been influenced by any other pressure. So hopefully it's a cool transition.
Really good farm analogy.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I like
Sean will appreciate that, I'm sure. Mr.
yeah.
What was he, a botanist in college?
Oh, yeah, man.
Yeah.
An ag guy.
He went for country club management.
Horticulture,
Horticulture,
man.
that's what it was,
man.
right. It's funny if you listen to Good Times on like the last song on our last EP, all the references that he makes and that are all like seeds and plants and the whole thing.
Awesome, yeah.
It's actually really good. Like you listen to, like the lyrics are actually really well. He's a great songwriter.
The plant daddy.
Yeah,
He's a plant daddy.
Yeah.
But it's funny, like just knowing his background and then listening to the lyrics to that song. You're just like, oh, this makes total sense.
Right.
But I'm curious as to what the approach is for like the next recording project, because a lot of bands that do like the backlog material will, if you want to put out like a 10-song album, they'll record 15, and then they'll be like, well, I think we're gonna leave out these 5. Is that an approach that you guys are considering, or do you just want to pick your best songs and just record those and focus fully on that?
Ooh, you want to field that one?
Well, a good thing for us is we get to test drive them every Thursday. We have that residency at Southern Grill, so it's almost like.
Oh, you guys are doing a residency at Southern Grill every Thursday?
Every second Thursday of the month.
Where have I been at? Under a fucking rock.
Under a rock,
apparently.
dude. You've been on the bottom of the bill, bro.
God
Doing
damn,
great things over here, man.
Trying to fucking dig our way out.
Your glass is telling you, right? You've been building an empire.
Yeah,
That's right. That's right. You're in the big leather chair. You got the big ice block. You're not doing so bad. You have like a war spear in front of you. You're doing all right. Doing all right. I was a little scared when I got here.
Compliments of Aaron Plotz. When I got COVID back in December, January.
How many times have you had COVID now?
Twice.
Probably 3 times.
I may have had it last week, but I didn't get tested. But I'm pretty sure that I'm like 100% sure that it's not.
I'm 0-3
I know.
in comparison to you, or I guess 3-0. Who's ever winning?
I've had it twice, bro.
But I've seen you like every fucking day of my life for the past 5 years, and so I would have had to have gotten it.
Well, that's a sickness of its own. I mean,
You're telling me, bro. The fact that we're still, you know what? But we work at it.
you know what? You guys are an inspiration to many. I'll tell you. I love it.
It's not without we've worked very hard in our relationship. I will say.
Hey, you know
I
what?
feel like the middle guy in the human caterpillar.
Oh my god.
If you want to be honest.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
Analogy.
we were working at it.
There's the first human centipede.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
of
Oh, did I say caterpillar? No, I fucked it up, didn't I? No, I'm sticking by it. I meant caterpillar.
Yeah, you had caterpillar. Yeah.
It turns into a
It's the same
butterfly
thing.
later.
Yeah.
They got a lot of legs too.
We got a lot of legs, you know.
Shit. All right, but best fucking band name I've come up with in a year, I'd
Human
say.
caterpillar.
No.
So stupid.
Sorry.
Good lord. Yeah.
All right, so back to the music residencies at Southern Grill. You guys are able to work your tunes out. So you feel like that's going to be the best approach to figure out what you want to record for the next one?
Well, it's like, honestly, most of the time we're just chilling in the room and somebody starts something and another person jumps on it and then the third person jumps on it and then it just starts rolling. And then the next thing you know, you're like, man, this is pretty cool. There's a section. All right, well, going off this, and it's real organic at first. And then we're like, man, we got a song after a couple sections. And then even if there's no words, we'll go test drive the music. You know, that's happened a couple times. And then we play it, and it gets a pop, or it gets a pretty good reaction. Or, you know, if it's crickets, at least the three of us can go, back to the drawing board, or go, whatever. Like crickets or not, that was great. Like that sounded great. We executed. We can go back, take the car back in the shop, tweak on it a little more. Tune her up.
That's a really good approach as well. And we actually had Joel Cummins from Humphreys on the podcast last week, and he was talking about that approach with Humphreys, where they kind of try out new concepts in a lot of their jams, and then they'll have songs that maybe they had backlog from 15 years ago, and then they'll start to work them in and see how it feels, and then kind of let them evolve in that way.
Right.
And that's a brave approach that I've never been comfortable trying, and like I was never comfortable with that with Side Hustle at all. But like, I think that's a really cool way to do it, because it's kind of like you get this audience interaction with it, and they almost become a part of the process, because the song is developing to an extent based on how they're reacting to it and how you're feeling off of their reaction from it,
Right.
It's just a different kind of, like, I think with the music stuff, there's so many approaches. They're just different flavors of like art. What I like about the approach of us being able to, road test them or just mess with ideas and bring like parts of ideas or things, it does a couple things. I think you're right on the money. It definitely puts the audience into the writing process, which is really cool for a few reasons. One, I think, is like it becomes really circular. Like they're a part of the process when it's, finished, and you bring it to them. And so it puts them in that at the beginning and as it evolves and at the end, right? Which I think is super cool. I mean, it puts them right in the driver's seat of like the relationship they have with the music, the relationship they have with you. It also pushes us in our improvisation, right? Because we know that we don't know where it's going to go, and then so do they. And then they kind of evolve with that as well. So they become part of the writing, they become part of the improvisation. I think it gives them a really good sense of like who we are, but it's just a different flavor. Like there's other songs that we'll do that are definitely composed or written, right, that we bring as a piece, but they're certainly different experiences, and I think even people react to it differently, which is kind of cool. Like there's some songs we just kind of went out and gave a go, and now people know it, and as it evolves, they've kind of grown with it. And then there's other ones that we'll bring in that are like, hey, this is this thing that we want to do. So it's just a different kind of palette to play with.
So here's a fun question that I have for you, and you're not gonna. I know you guys aren't gonna answer this because why would you? But what is your least favorite and then your favorite song on the new album?
Oh man.
Yeah.
No, we got to answer that. That's cool.
My favorite's probably It Don't Matter.
I don't know the name so well. So
Yeah.
if you could just hum
It
that'd
Don't
be
Matter is
great.
the last track on the album.
That's the last track.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And
Okay.
Ben's favorite, I'll speak for Ben, it might be Regina.
Yeah, I think emotionally the connection to Regina is the one that I love the most.
That's really a great song.
Well, that song's cosmic how it happened.
Yeah, that one was really wild story.
It was great.
And so emotionally, like to me, that one's probably the most important one, but just because of the connection that I had to actually writing it and starting to work that one out. But there's other things, I don't know, it's hard to say, like, that's probably like the emotional pull for me from an artistic and personal perspective, because it's very kind of songwritery and it came in a real crazy way. And it was like a gifted song, the way that it came, right? But there's other things I like about different tracks. Like I really like the way Truth Is a Mountain is from a mix standpoint.
Yeah.
Like that was the one that I really liked, that I tried to reference other stuff off of, and I realized as I was doing these that, enough had gone by and been learned from, and the way things were recorded and composed, I wasn't going to be able to reference everything in the same kinds of ways.
Right.
So, yeah, different favorites for maybe different reasons or things I liked about each one differently.
That's why I figured the answer would be, at least from your perspective. What do you think, Aaron?
Favorite?
Your least favorite was the last tune on the album. You
No,
said?
no, my favorite was
That was-
probably It Don't Matter.
Okay, and then what about your least favorite? Do you got one?
I mean, my least favorite just
They're all gems. Is the right answer.
I know, and here's what I want to emphasize. I want to take away what you like, your perspective on your performance on it, or your perspective on how you mixed it or whatever it might be. Like, just what song doesn't hit you as much as you think? And this is not to impose on anyone else, because other people's songs hit them differently.
Oh, 100%.
I'm just genuinely curious, because I could rattle off those off our album just myself. So I'm curious as to what your perspective is on yours.
Answer his question with a question. Be confrontational.
Yeah.
Is what I would suggest.
Yeah.
But whatever. I'll shut up.
Yeah. Thank you, Bill.
Sorry.
I mean, least favorite. I mean, if
Pick one.
Pick one.
it's just
Pick
it's
one.
just tough, because I mean, if I just have to pick one, it would just maybe be the instrumental or something, But there's no reason why. It's just like maybe my least favorite part about it is maybe there were words out there, maybe there wasn't.
Right.
I mean, my favorite part about the whole thing is that it's just straight honesty process all the way through, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like we never kid ourselves. Like if me and Ben are like, man, this song's badass. Brandon's like, we got to do this on it. And we're like, yeah, you're right. Or me and Brandon love it. And Ben's like, like one of us is always like, hang on, guys, come on back.
Yeah, totally.
Look at it like this. And that's like the best part, But I mean, least favorite song, like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like, just because it doesn't have words, like, I'm going to be cheesy. You know what I mean? But other than that, it's like they're all tied.
Right.
Because they're all like a point in my life personally where I'm like, wow, I get to try to make an album, And it's not one of those things where like you got $2,000. Once it gets to zero, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
That's how
And-
your
and that-
album's finished.
and
When it's at zero.
You're like,
Yeah, how did you guys know when you were done when my card failed when I
Yeah.
tried to swipe
When
it?
they
I don't,
kicked you out of the studio.
It's $2,000. It's like 2 hours. You're like, all right, see you, man.
when the lights turned off.
I
don't
will
know.
tell you from experience that for sure wasn't the breaking point for me. So
yeah.
my card expired, cash ran out. It's still like, I'm going to figure this out. We're going to finish this album,
Yeah.
whether however we have to do it. So, but yeah, I mean, that's a good answer, I guess. It's hard to say from the people that have been in the trenches with those songs, which one is your least favorite or favorite, because at the end of the day, even if it was a song that you weren't super stoked on from the get-go, like, you were in the trenches with that song. Like,
Yeah.
you picked it apart from every level. And then, especially if you're on the mixing and mastering and production side of it, you know that song so intimately, where it's just like, I mean,
You know numbers. You're like at 4 minutes and 10
Yeah.
seconds. It
Or you're
does
like, this is panned.
yeah,
right.
This way, like, yeah, I hear you. There was a point where, and not because I don't like the music, but I mean, you just spend so much time mixing and mastering. I was like, I gotta get my head fucking out of these things.
Yeah.
Because you do. That's what took it so long to even get finished.
You're hearing your own voice over and over.
Oh,
and
you're just
over and
going
over
through
and over.
and or all these parts, or you go in and there was one song where, like, what I was hearing was like, there's this place or potential for it to do so much more in the space that's there, and all the parts are recorded. And even though it is to time, I don't want to chop this individual tune up for whatever reason, right? Because there's some pieces in the movement of it that, I really did appreciate, and I didn't want to, like, take that out of the song or something. And so I was trying to figure out, how do I play with space and get very inventive to really give this thing some legs, where I felt like as a listener, because you're always trying to come back out and, like, see it then outside.
Right.
Because that's the other crummy part, like, or really difficult part of trying to mix and master your own tunes, right? Because you have to really separate, or try.
Yeah, totally.
To try to really be like, hey, I'd go to sit down and I'd be like, all right, this isn't my shit. This isn't Aaron's shit. This isn't Brandon's shit. This isn't Max's shit. Like, to kind of disassociate from, like, the actual connection to the music itself.
Yep.
And try to play with those spaces. And that's some of the stuff that was driving me really bonkers, was like, I can hear the potential here in the movement from this section to this one, or this float. Like, how do I, like, and I would go in, and in this one song, I started deconstructing all of some of the keyboard parts, and I would take it and I would, like, double it in some places and put things over and under and pan it and mix it and add effects to things to meld and stretch and contort it and blah, 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 blah. And, I got to a place where then I ended up as probably one of my favorites just because of that, right? Because I know what went into creating,
Right.
like, the arc outside of just musically, right? Like, everyone did a great job on all the parts, but then there's all these things you can do to really help mold it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's when I was like, I think I really like this. Like this one song I'll remember doing from the mixing, mastering, producing thing for the rest of like my musical career is the time where the light bulb went off and said, not only do I like recording, which I did like on acoustic stuff, but like for band production of like songs, I was like, I think I might like this. And so is it the best thing I've done or anyone's done? No. Right? You know, I love it and I hope people love it. And I worked hard to you know, on that side of things. But it was a moment for me where I was like, I really like this stuff. And then it made getting through the rest of the project easier.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah, totally. Now, were there any parts that you worked on or like rearranged and like took back to the guys and they were like, I hate what you did with my thing? Here.
Well, a lot on the mixing side. Like we had a couple sessions. It's a good question. So we had a couple sessions where we all went to Max's house, and he's got similar reference monitors to what I was using. And so we would play it through, and they would kind of go, hey, you know, we really like this mix, or hey, we don't like the way this is composed at all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let's change the levels here or mess with this here. And, you know, Max has done a lot of music production and recording and was really into all kinds of music, right? And so he was really helpful in a lot of different areas through like that middle part of the process.
Right.
And so, yeah, there were definitely things that needed to get reworked.
Yeah.
And that's good, right? Having that kind of feedback with everyone because, again, I'm trying to just work it through. And a lot of times it's stuff like my biased perception of how it sounds or whatever. So you have to constantly battle that. So it's
Yeah.
good to have these like good soundboards. Like Aaron be like, no, right? Like he was saying earlier, I'd call him. He'd be like, all right, let me cry on his shoulder. And like, why don't you try this? Right? And so, yeah, you need a lot of help.
Yeah.
You need a lot of help.
For sure.
Constructive criticism
Yes.
and like honest, like tact, but honestly,
Yeah, totally.
you know, like don't chop him into pieces, but like,
Yeah.
man, come on, man.
I know you're learning, but
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing. It's like you can't give him too much slack. We're not paying a producer $5,000, $10,000, whatever. We're not.
you didn't get my invoice?
We're not spending this much money.
That
on
makes a lot of sense now.
Wait a minute.
You're supposed to forward it to Ben Strok Productions.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think Janice is supposed to forward it.
Yeah,
on.
no wonder. She didn't even send me with headphones.
that fucking bitch,
How about that
bro.
lady?
You know what?
Well,
I gave her another shot about 6 months ago. I brought her back into the fold. I'm not kidding. I brought her back in. We had her over for 4th of July barbecue. I thought,
right.
you know, let's
We-
do some team building, all this
Right.
kind of stuff. She was trying to help me out. You see the release strategy. Do you see me with headphones on?
She left you a voicemail.
Oh, she did.
You got to call back. You got to call back
I bet
Janice.
she doesn't even know what the
I don't-
word album cycle even means.
Does she know you're here right now? Let's be honest.
Do I have headphones? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
How many memos do I got to send? So yeah, nothing's changed on that front.
So are we nixing Janice then? Is that what's happening?
We're gonna have to again.
I think so.
And well, now she's gonna find out.
She's gonna find out.
This is a hell of a way. Sorry.
Well, she's earned that though, right?
I mean, as much as a person can earn a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know.
I like how. So if you, anyways, we don't have to explain the callback, but yeah, it is one of those things, man. Like when you're involved in that production side of it, it's like that becomes such an emotional investment as well. That when you're like making creative choices on that side, and then you go back and then you're like showing to people or like whatever the big reveal of it. And there's all these like, well, I don't like this or I don't like that. And then you got to go back in and like think, well, how do we rework this to make it sound like workable?
Especially with your bandmates, you know, like that's the part that I was most nervous about because it's like an immense amount of trust. Like Aaron, Brandon, Max, you know, would entrust me to take this thing that we're doing, and you don't have that third party,
Right.
you know, like in other going in other projects, going into the studio, and you have the engineer, and then you have somebody mixing it, and then as a band you're giving feedback, which is a different lens than like one of us taking it, working it, and then giving feedback, which you know, again attributes to like our relationship with each other as people, you know,
A lot
to be
of
able
trust.
to be able to do that. But it's scary. I was more scared of that than I was releasing it, you know.
You're scared of yourself, though, really.
Getting
You
mixed.
were like, am I going to do this unbiased when it comes to the time to be unbiased?
Yeah, and
Or
try
am I
you
going to
know,
let go when I need to let go?
Yep.
And that's the, you know, all right, you're producing everything.
Yeah.
Then you're just like, I got to redo that, dude. I'm not happy about that.
Well,
Or-
it's yeah. I mean, it's
and then, but we listen to it, dude, it sounds great, man. And then you go home and you're like, all right, 3 out of 1, you know, or 3 out of 4 says it's great. Okay, it's great. All right. hands off.
That's the thing is that you gotta like allow yourself to like kind of relinquish some of that control at a certain point, whether it's in favor of or against the creative call.
Yep.
It's like sometimes you got to make the change or you got to leave it as is because it's everybody's song at the end of the day.
Oh, 100%.
And and that can be a hard one, you know, especially if you're the one in there like really picking it apart and you're the ones really like at the end of the day making the call, right? Because you're pushing the buttons, you're in the room, right?
Yeah.
So that's a hard. You just got to remove the ego and like just kind of always keep in mind that I think that you're working in service of the song and the art and everybody's contribution to that thing, and then then it can all work. But it's definitely got to be like something that you keep in mind for sure always.
Well, I feel like this immense like burden to do everybody justice. You know, like we're all coming to create this thing, right? I want what Aaron's expressing on the bass, right, to really be the thing that can reach out and touch somebody when they listen to it. Right. Like as much as, a lyric might grab somebody else, right? It's going to be the way that Brandon transitions through sections. It's going to affect somebody else.
Right.
And as much as it's going to be the way that Max has composed the keys, right? That's going to touch somebody else.
Right.
And so all those things are at play and trying to do justice to, I love these guys. Get all mushy, but, trying to do the service to each person's ability to shine and what that can mean in the context of like coming to do it musically all together, right? Is like it for me, it was easier to like, those are the things I was thinking about when I go to sit down, right? Like, does this, and as you do mixes, right, you're going to start and you're going to build that mix up. So like each step, that's what I was trying to do and fold it in. Like usually, you start with, or I'm starting with the drums, right? And the drums and the bass and then the bass specifically to the kick and then melding everything in, and you get to that bass and drum thing, and I'm like, could I release like a drum and bass track of this, right? And then I would move on, kind of thing, and then that made it easier. I feel like to try to do that, or I hope that comes through.
Yeah, for sure.
You built a cool house.
Yeah,
you got done with the floor and went to the next floor, and
that's how it's got to be done, 100%.
Yeah.
All right, so we should get to bottom of the Billboard because this week it's we've changed the game up a little bit on this segment. And
Yep, we sure have. We used to show songs that each one of us really liked a lot, but now what are we doing?
Well, okay, so here we should preface this, okay? Is that last week or a few weeks ago when we were doing this, our other producer, Jason. So this is his fault, guys.
It's not his fault. It's a good idea.
It's a great idea. I love this idea.
Until you actually,
no.
get there.
So here's let's say the idea though. Okay,
and then you have to review the. All right, whatever. Let's go.
So we were talking. What Jason recommended is that since the segment's called "Bottom of the Billboard," we actually review a song that's at the bottom of the Billboard. And so this song that we're going to review this week, and we're going to see how it goes. If you guys are listening to this and you have any opinion, please let us know because we will for sure do whatever you want us to do. Just tell us. We're here for you. Anyways, we're doing the...
that was so believable, right? I just,
I'm a musician, not an actor, guys,
No, not at all.
No.
Is that lizard thing you talk
He's
about?
reptilian. He's trying to,
trying
fit
to fit
in.
Yeah.
That's it.
He's trying to seduce us.
Whatever. I'm a little cringy sometimes. What can you say?
Whatever.
So we're actually reviewing...
Maybe he is. All right. Keep going.
It does say he's with you every day for 5 years.
Yeah.
It's like, like a parasite more than a reptilian.
Yeah. So anyways.
Maybe like a human caterpillar. I don't know.
Damn it! I was so close to getting that right, and it was funny. Oh, we can't show that.
Okay.
I had to blur that out.
Well, it's not live. Oh, okay. No, don't put that.
No,
live,
we probably should.
Well, no. Hang on.
Oh my God.
That's pretty good.
No.
Let's
Wonder what the butterfly looks like.
Oh man.
Oh, good Lord.
It's definitely not a butterfly. It's probably a tetherfly.
All right. Anyways, so what we're doing on this week's segment is we're reviewing the song. It's at literally the bottom of the Billboard. It's number 100 on the top Billboard charts. So
La-ti-do.
I hate that you still do that.
Nobody gets it.
It's so
Speaking of callbacks,
yeah, exactly. So the song is called, what's it called? Good Love.
Oh, for fuck's sakes! No, it's City Girls.
No, that's the artist is Usher and City Girls.
Oh shit. Okay, I don't know that.
yeah, I think it's
What's it called?
I
There?
think it's called Good Love featuring Usher
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
by
that's
City
right.
Girls.
Yep.
Good. Okay, I nailed it. I was right.
Did you?
Okay, so
I'll save the day again, just like last time.
yeah, you did do that last time too, right? I got the Humphrey song wrong. All right,
Love.
so
I got you, dog.
There it is. Oh yeah.
here's I'll start this segment off this
All
week.
right, let just start from the top for the clips. Good lord, bottom of the billboard. What are we reviewing?
We're reviewing Usher's "Good Love" featuring City Girls, or is it City Girls featuring Usher?
You know what? At this point,
It's City Girls featuring Usher. Yeah.
Okay, it's made it to the top 100. I gotta say, I am not a fan of this song.
it got to the bottom 100. I hate to correct you, but yeah, it's in the 100.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Like, it to me is
What don't you like about this song?
it's first off the lyrics.
And then
are
what do you love about it?
cheesy. I mean the production.
Can't even hold it together.
No, not at all.
The production is, I mean, just very basic. Nothing crazy about it.
Basic?
And then, what I will say that I like about it, I'll say something I like about
Sounds
it.
good in your car stereo?
The performances were fine.
Oh, they were fine.
The performances work.
Performances.
Usher does what Usher does, and he hit the right notes. He sang everything correctly. The rapping
Yeah.
was in time, and it all made sense. you
It's
know?
in time.
Yeah.
A song was in time. That's your compliment.
Bro, have you listened to half the SoundCloud rappers out there? They can't keep it. As soon as you go into like a triplet feel, they lose where the one is at. It's
Nobody has
terrible.
ever said this song is really in time.
Here's
Number one fucking compliment on this song.
here's what I'll say
You
to
gotta listen
wrap
to
up.
this song. It's really in time, man.
To wrap up my review of it.
Oh, I thought we were just going back and forth. I thought we were rapping together. you
Oh,
know?
you said riffing. Yeah.
Yeah, riffing,
Riffing.
riffing
Riffing,
and
bro.
rapping.
That's right. You know.
Riff rap.
That's a good podcast.
So to wrap up my review on it, I will say that I can totally at number 3 is a Harry Styles tune. Okay.
on the billboard.
On the Billboard.
Yeah.
So I can see why they're at the bottom 100,
Ooh.
and Harry Styles is at where he's at, because you listen to the production value and the music and the performances, and there's substance there.
It was in time.
It was what?
The Harry Styles song was in time also.
It was also in time. Yes, it was.
Which one is number 3 right now?
Yeah.
As it was, I think is what it's
As it
called.
was?
It's still up there. Good for him.
Number
I'll
3.
say that's
let's
still
see. Good
for
sitting at
Harry.
number 3.
What was
That's
number
pretty-
one?
Harry.
Let's look that up real quick. Billboard Top 100. Number 1 was not something that I'm familiar with. I don't think. No Sam
surprise.
Smith and Kim Petras, which is Unholy. I haven't heard the song, or maybe I have. I just don't know it.
Heard of
But-
Sam Smith.
Yeah, but I will say Sam Smith is an amazing singer and super talented. He also got sued by Tom Petty for that. Stay with me, won't you?
Oh
Stay
yeah.
with-" yeah.
Yeah.
And then Harry Styles, As It Was, is number 3. Steve Lacy, Bad Habit, number 2. California Breeze by Lil Baby, number 4. Anyways, you look at what's at the top, and you see like why it's at the top, and then you look at what's at number 100, and you see why they're at 100. So for legal reasons, as far as we know, we can't play the song. So if you want to hear what we're talking about, go check it out. But to me, it stands out why it's at 100.
I feel like it's just stuck in the past a little bit. It sounds like 2007 Usher, 100%. I
Yeah.
did learn where Usher was from today because he says it in the song.
What do you say?
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew that.
I had no idea.
ATL.
Yeah.
So is that your review of the song?
No, I've got a lot of other funny things to say about it. The whole song just sounds like a resume or interview question on how Usher can please you.
Yeah.
That's how the chorus
What an
is.
astute observation. That's awesome.
He can do it on top.
Yeah.
You can do it on bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And he can do it 80 other ways.
80 other ways, which is impressive.
And not only does he have variety, he can do it till the morning.
You can do it till the morning.
Yes.
Just in case
Or-
anyone's interested. Or in the afternoon.
No, or late night.
Or
I believe,
late
I
night. Oh,
believe
yeah, I
it was
think you're right.
what it
Yeah.
was.
Which at his age is impressive. I will
Yeah.
say.
How old is
Very
Usher? Google it, boys.
He's got to be in his late 40s by now.
40s? I'm
40s.
saying 51.
Late 40s.
47.
Doing here?
You can't just keep on going late 40s.
Late 40s, I think, is a number.
Anybody over 50s in their late 40s?
Well, no, I'm just if 49, 51, it's almost the same thing.
No, it's not.
44. Okay,
Oh.
mid 40s.
Well,
All right, well, still impressive at 44. I mean, I'm 33 and not doing that, so
no.
You don't have 80 ways.
I don't have. I'm trying to figure out number one first, and then for sure not going from the nighttime into the early morning.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
well.
saying? I'm wrapping it up.
A deep dive into the song though, I'm trying to figure out what they're trying to come. Is it supposed to be like a club banger? If it is, that's
Of course,
But it doesn't have like the
because there's no
the
production
hit,
value there.
it doesn't have that hit you in the face like doo 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 doo.
Right.
It doesn't have any of that stuff at all. It's
There's-
just like
There's no production value.
and
there, so I'm
Usher the
saying.
whole time just says Christina Aguilera. The whole it's not very good. Usher I think he's on his way out.
No, he's an icon, but
Icon's an icon. Let's get real.
what? I just knocked over the bottle of whiskey. Anyways, what do you guys think about the song?
Damn it, man.
It was an interesting tune.
Yeah,
I think
This is going to be a good clip.
yeah, it was a real interesting tune. I thought
I think it was interesting or like interesting.
interesting.
Okay.
Come on, Ben.
No, look,
Don't-
I mean,
don't be typical Ben.
I
right
wanted
now.
I wanted more from an icon like Usher. Like
Yeah.
this is the thing that I don't understand. So I understand that maybe these two women are trying to come up, right? Or maybe they're already very relevant, and I just don't. It's not my main genre, so no insult to them, right? But what I don't understand is somebody who is royalty of a genre, quite frankly, right? I mean, say what you will, but that 44-year-old man has cemented his place in that genre
Totally.
in a real powerful way.
Yeah, 100%.
And what brings somebody like that, and I guess it's dollars, right? To say, yeah, these folks are folks that I want to bring up, right? Because maybe it's a pay to play kind of scenario, right? But it just seems like that guy could be doing whatever he wants, right, with whoever. Like I want to see, like I want to see like Robert Glasper do something with Usher, or maybe he has and I have no idea, right? But like his ability to sing and what he can do, right? I would love to see like something with that guy's probably got a lot to say. What he was demonstrating he had to say in that song, I thought was not. See, see, there you go. See, there you go. So what song is it? That's what I'm saying. Like,
how long ago was this?
these are the kind of relationships that I want to be more aware of, right? Because
That was 7 years ago.
Oh, 7 years ago. So they have done something. And it
so they
probably
have
hasn't
done. So now I'm
released.
going to go back and
Unless
scour because that's what I want to that's what I want to hear. So again, so
Because he's
case in point.
R&B all day, right?
Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
supposed to
And
say.
then he met Lil Jon and then made some bangers. And then
But these girls
he
like
he was making bangers before that. He was making bangers in the
Let
90s.
it, let it burn.
God,
Come on.
yeah,
dude,
let it burn
yeah.
was way back
Yeah.
in the 90s. I
Yeah,
think.
exactly. Like,
Killing
he-
it.
so now I'm encouraged that my link up is correct.
club
so-
bangers is what I meant to say.
But they're taking. You know what? They're taking the Wigeon approach. They haven't released it yet. 7 years ago. They're
No,
they're
they-
taking their time.
They've got to, and I'm just slow to that whole train, right?
Yeah.
Like, which is great for me because look, I'm saying, oh, I'd love to see that, that melding, and look, it's out there. I just need to find it, or be more aware of it. Like, but I don't know why. Why would? I don't know. I guess I'm not going to say there's not art there, right? That's not fair. That's
totally
not
is.
fair. Yeah, but
They made it to the top 100, which is saying something.
Yeah.
That's not nothing. You know.
yeah,
what
but
I
I
mean?
just would love to see more. I would love to see more. I'd love to see more out of the other artist.
Yeah.
You
So
Girls?
what brings them to work together, right? What made Usher go, yo, listen, I want to do this thing with City Girls? Was it pure like that's the art that he wanted to do at that moment, or was there some other thing
There's
at play?
definitely a financial motive.
Sure,
So, it may
Oh,
have also
I don't
been.
like that. You don't know that.
It may
you
have
don't
also,
know that.
It may have also been.
Are they from Atlanta? I
Yeah,
don't know,
Yeah,
maybe,
you know.
maybe, but it could have also been, as they stated in the song, their Coochie imprint that made him come to the. I'm just saying, we're
That
talking.
made him arrive.
Yeah,
What's
it
a
made-
Gucci
exactly.
imprint?
Yep. Yeah, Billy's from Kentucky, guys. You'll have to
Like
excuse
a
him.
like a purse?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
it's like a
Coochie
purse.
imprint.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, like a vagina, like a camel toe, moose knuckle, if you will.
Well, but yeah, so that's what I kind of was left wondering when I
Yeah.
heard it. I was thinking, why? I wanted to know more about that story.
There's probably probably a lot of different motives there. I'm sure, and he probably I'm sorry. Before I go off on this tangent, what do you think of the song, Aaron?
I was speechless, really. I was like,
What'd you tell me before we started this? You gave it half a spin and you turned it off.
I mean, if it's a 4-minute song, it might have got the 2 minutes.
yeah,
it might have.
And I'm just like, it's a 6-minute drive over there. It can't be a 6-minute song.
No, it's like a 3:30, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah,
somewhere right
it's
around
like a
there.
3:30,
It
3:15.
was 3:57 when I looked at it.
Was it?
Because
Okay.
I was gonna
That's
make the
longer than I
comment. It's
thought.
a really great length.
Yeah, it's a good
Oh.
size.
It's
yeah,
a good size.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little bit like I just stepped into 2007.
Yeah, that's what yeah.
And I'm kind of where Billy's at, but it's just like, man, did Little John retire or something?
No,
Like-
he's still pretty active. and
Is
bold.
he?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm just over here like, come on, man. Usher, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's really where I was at. Like, what is going on here? I immediately thought, like, these girls paid him a lot, or they know him, or their producer produced him at one point in time without any details whatsoever. And that's how I felt. I mean, as far as I know, though, in 15 years, we're going to be drinking and the music's going to come on and we're going to be like, Jesus Christ, there's good love again.
No, I think
Smacking us in the face.
that
But, I
song
mean,
at its best reached number 70, I believe, on the charts.
Oh, you saw the history of it?
It
I'm
tells
just-
So it's
you-
on its way out?
I'm thinking like, yeah, you know, like
Yeah.
you still hear yeah.
But I think was like
Number one for a
was
couple
like a
weeks.
chart.
You ever
It was,
been
it
at
was
White
a
Girl's
chart
Wedding? Of course
topper.
you heard that, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think this song is like a chart topper like that. I don't think you'll see any historical
Right.
relevance to that one. Maybe not. However,
He made a B movie.
yeah, exactly. And while say going back to the why, obviously you can't like know what was going on in Usher's head when he does something like this, or in City Girls' head when they do this collaboration. But there's got to be a motive to be collaborating with up and coming relevant artists.
Right.
2, there's got to be a financial motive. 3, there's got to be people that exist in the pop world, like, are so removed from what happens in any other world. Like, it's no more obvious than when you watch people like Pharrell, like the interviews with him, where it's like, so what are you listening to these days? And there's no answer to that question. It's literally just like, oh, well, I'm always just like producing and whatever. Like, there's no, they're not looking for like, they're not like listening to like other things like that. They're so engulfed in that world, which obviously you would be if you're in that position. They're so engulfed in that world that it's like, okay, well, this is the thing, and this is doing the thing well enough that I could see myself doing this thing too.
There's probably a balance. I think it depends. Like, you look at some people that are really brilliant. Like, I would put Usher in there. Probably would put Pharrell in there as well.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, they got to get inspiration from somewhere, right? I mean, they're listening to something. And probably part of it is that not only are they listening, they're also helping create it, right? Because a lot of those dudes are producing so many artists, right? I mean, so I don't know. Where do they got to get their motivation somewhere,
Yeah.
right? They got to be listening to something.
Did you see who produced it?
I was looking up to see if there's like a comprehensive list of songs that were charted between the two.
Right.
To see, and I found some clips of some stuff they were doing in a studio, but not like a But I'm telling you, I'm gonna go scour that because I really want to see. And he was born in '78 too, which I didn't know. So Glasper and Usher are the same.
Oh,
same
same.
age.
They're both
Yeah, because I
four-
was looking, I was like, man, I would really. I just kind of off the top of my head because I was listening to some stuff of his on the way.
Same
Like, have you
generation.
listened to that song that he did? Glasper did with her.
I don't know.
It's called Better. It's called Better Than I Imagined, and it is
Awesome.
It is literally when the first time I heard this song, I was driving like home from a show, and I had this tape of like R&B stuff on it. It came up on the playlist, and I literally could not handle it. I thought I was gonna crash. driving home. I mean, it just hit me so hard. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like, I had heard of her,
Yeah.
but hadn't really dug a bunch of stuff, and I was listening to some of his tracks, and so obviously it came up, and I was just thinking, oh my gosh. And then I found some other people through that playlist that are doing some things like that, and so I just think, I gotta find the work that they've done together. I'll get on the computer and like dig it up. But yeah, I don't know what. I'm not saying like maybe he's just thinking this is fun, right? There's probably some money. Maybe it's a combination of all those things.
I think that's what
just,
it is.
Just having some fun and doing it to do it, or maybe he knows those people wants to help him come up, right? Who knows? But I thought, hey, for what I've seen him and heard him do before, like when you've climbed that mountain, like unless like you're saying he's coming down, but
That's what it
why?
sounds
But
like,
why?
yeah.
Like why?
Well,
Like it's a song he's talking about, like he's gonna, lay down and he's gonna,
I mean,
I'm
guys.
I'm like, you definitely have some amazing things to say. Like,
But okay, let's also not pretend like Usher's not like, you know what I mean? Like this is not like the lyrical content is not what makes this so unbelievable, right? Like he's not above like that kind of like he's put plenty of stuff out like that in the past. Listen to again. Listen,
Right,
that song
yeah.
is so. He says
Affirmative, yeah.
he says
I would agree.
He says nothing of any like real substance in that song, and we all know Ludacris is just doing what he does. I love Ludacris, but he's doing what he does best in that song.
Yeah.
And then Usher's just singing like whatever, the same kind of shit.
but it
honestly.
feels haphazard. Like to Billy's point, if you were just going in to do a club banger and you wanted it to be explicit and fun and dirty and just kind of put it out there, like to me, I totally appreciate that. I think there's a huge market for that, and I think it's fun to listen to, when you're either at a certain, I don't know, in a certain vibe or whatever. If that's what you're into, that's great, and I totally get it. But then make the song bang harder. Like
Yeah.
it felt so in between.
But it wasn't his
felt
song,
so in
right?
between.
He was a feature, so it's just like I just from that
Yeah,
perspective.
why aren't we blaming the city girls right now?
The,
You know what I'm saying?
I'm just all
Your
I'm
song
saying.
is trash.
No. It's definitely not
They're
trash.
crying into
It-
all of their checks right now.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna
Yeah,
say
they're
like,
crying
it
into all
made
their
it to
checks.
it made number 70 in the top Billboard. Like that's not trash. That's like it worked, right? But like the thing is that it's a feature. He's a feature. So like from that perspective,
But he really owned that feature. I mean, he opens the song, he runs the middle through it, he runs the end. It's a heavy feature. It
Totally.
wasn't just like I come in to do a verse. I mean, it's a heavy feature.
There's multiple layers to the thing. Like there's again like he sees something there, right? He sees that there's something viable there. Just because it didn't reach number one, you know what I mean? Like maybe he thought it could, and people are wrong about that all the time. I don't care
Yeah.
what level you're at. Sometimes you just miss the mark, and maybe that was one of those moments.
Sounds like
number two,
like a producer's slow day at the studio.
whatever. Number two,
Oh
number two, he probably heard the production and was like, okay, again, I can see this. This is viable, Number three, there's definitely a financial motive there. There always is. I don't care who you are. Usher's not hopping on your track for free. He's just not, right? And he's got a minimum that he's going to make on
Got
that
some
too.
royalties in this.
Maybe, or maybe
Something,
maybe
yeah.
it's a flat rate. I don't know what the.
I hope
what-
it was a flat rate because I don't know what the royalty deal on that's
Yeah,
gonna be.
right. I mean, I don't know
He
what.
owes them money.
Yeah, right. I don't know what kind of scenarios they work out with that, but he definitely has a minimum that he's trying to hit. And then, so there's financial motive. I'm sure there's a creative interest on some level, and there's it's on. Maybe he believes in this project. Maybe he's a producer for these girls or on some level. I don't know.
You know what's so funny is I realize as we're talking about this, like, what did we think of the song all became of, like, what did we think about Usher's choice on the song?
Right.
Which is such an interesting thing to say about, like, established artists versus, and I'm assuming city girls are more emerging.
Yeah, I
Maybe
think
they're
so.
maybe they're huge, but I mean,
Let's see.
What-
Can we
They're
look that
not
up?
like
See
Hall
what-
of Famers.
what their
though.
first
Right.
If
release
this
was.
was
Like-
a sport.
that's so interesting, to see how the conversation gravitates. Because you're right, like you're saying in jest, but as we're talking about it, you're saying I was really thinking, oh my gosh, my wheels were spinning in the same direction. It's like, what about them as a come up? Like I don't know them as like what their persona is and what
Right.
they're marketed to be.
I think we got a pretty good idea based on that song, though, right?
City Girls was a okay.
2021. Okay.
20, yeah, so they're just coming out. So this is a huge
Oh,
deal.
2008.
Oh,
Sorry, I looked at
okay, 2008.
the- Sorry.
Oh man, okay. So that flips the script. I mean, I was kind of thinking, hey, maybe this, or maybe they've been I don't know. I just don't know enough about them as artists to know.
Are
but
they 44 too?
I just thought it was interesting.
Probably not. They're probably closer to our age, actually.
I thought it was interesting just how it kind of gravitated. The responsibility of the track, ended up there.
Well, because he's the feature, right? And
Sure.
and that's what they're betting. That's what they're paying for his investment. Is like the responsibility does fall on him. Like at least it's split pretty heavily in his favor because they
sound
paid
like he's
him.
a feature though,
Now,
because he sings the whole thing.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying. It's so heavy. Let's actually rip this all the way apart. Who produced this?
Yeah.
And
Who
what
produced
other
this
stuff are they
song?
producing? Like I would love to know
That's
who
true.
handled this.
Yeah,
Because like my biggest criticism was it felt like it was in between.
yeah.
Like, so all things said and jokes aside, I felt like it was in between. Like it had the identity of like a 2007 like club banger, but the music I felt like didn't deliver on that. Even though the lyrics were, it felt very caught in between. And so I'm wondering,
It didn't seem out
who
of
produced
character
it.
to me for Usher. Or
Not out of
like-
character. I just felt like it lacked like the delivery mechanism to make that
The punch.
lyric piece fit.
Yeah, totally. And also to your point, 2008 is when they released their first single, so it is of that time, like 100%.
So maybe they were
Sure.
just like, Usher, like, oh, we loved you so much, like, we beg you to come on, and no money was crossed hands.
There's
at
not
all.
a chance in
Not
the
at all.
world. There's
No,
not a chance in the
no
world
money
that
at all,
happened.
and he was just
No.
doing like, whatever, city girls.
You my girls.
I
You're
got
my
you.
girl.
I got you.
You're my
Yeah.
girl, city
Come on,
girls. I'll do
girls.
whatever I can for you.
Here's what I'll say for certain.
Yeah.
Here's the only thing that I will say for certain on this is that there's not a chance that there was no money exchanged for like to get Usher on that track.
What are you trying to
They
say?
could have exchanged some other stuff.
Now we're gonna
but-
find out that City Girls is actually like one of the two City Girls is actually like his little cousin, and he totally came and did a pro bono.
that would be fucking wild.
They're all
But
from the
also-
city.
But also, it's like you released your first single like 15
And he
years
hasn't
ago.
helped you till then.
Yeah, so
It's of
like-
his least favorite sibling.
Yeah,
He's like,
exactly.
I'll help you.
Yeah,
He's like
exactly.
in however many years, and now he has to come do it. So
Exactly.
let's see.
Mr.
Let's produce
Hanky.
Mr. Hanky.
I don't-
Okay.
I mean, I'm not like super up on all the producers out there. but I don't-
Motown, Detroit. Is that what's going on?
Is that what he for real?
That's
did it-
the
they did it in Detroit?
label.
Oh, it's the label. Okay.
Real
but,
name Corey
Twerkulator.
A lot of cities.
Oh, the Twerkulator.
Corey Dennard.
Who else has he produced?
I don't know the Twerkulator. That's what I was trying to
That's
figure out.
City
is like,
Girls too.
Planet Rock. I know that song.
what's some of it?
Oh, Lil Duval. He
Bitch.
produced Smile Bitch. That's hilarious.
Ball greasy.
California.
Cool. Okay.
Oh,
His
go
names
slower,
are
Chris. You
great.
can't see all
No,
that.
go faster.
What he did? Okay. He did WAP.
Throw Lil
But
Wayne.
Little Chucky's WAP, not the other one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, WAP.
Thank you for clarifying,
Wings
Chris.
and pizza.
It's, you got to know the WAP.
Lil Wayne, he's got guys.
So yeah, I mean that's what I was just wondering
Especially
who.
that time. Lil
Rock
Wayne
the
was a dude.
boat. Rock the boat. Rock the boat.
All right. Well,
baby.
this guy
Really?
obviously,
Wow.
like, whatever. But just because you're a producer that's produced like hits, I mean, this was a hit, but like that produces like chart topping hits. That one's a hard one to say.
That's
Chart
10 times
topping-
fast. Man,
Yeah.
10 times fast.
Chart topping hits. Just because you're a producer that does that doesn't mean you hit the mark every time. You know what I mean? So
Oh
it's
no,
like-
I mean Michael Jordan didn't hit it every time.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I just was interested. Because I
yeah.
noticed two things: we didn't talk
6
about
out
the
of 6.
producer,
Six
Right.
and we
championships,
kind of
whatever.
correlated all the
6 tries.
relationship
to Usher.
to Usher.
Yeah,
which
100%.
what does that also say? Like you said, yeah, he's got the notoriety.
Yeah.
So that's the natural inclination.
It's just like
But I just
it's Picasso like getting paid to like come draw these stick figures for
Yeah, that's
me.
what I.
Probably
it
nothing
felt like
anymore,
an
right?
autograph that Usher had to do. Is what it sounded
Felt
like.
like
He's
he,
like, "Yeah, I'll
he,
do
he
it."
owed
Well.
somebody something.
And let's get real. Maybe it wasn't his best work.
Hey man, do me a favor.
It's not a
please.
bad
Yeah.
chorus. At
Right.
the
No.
end of the day,
Remember that time
and
in
he's
07?
not. I mean, he's crying into his checks too.
it's
I scratched
weird.
your back.
It's weird though how we're like being like, realizing that Usher didn't write this song. It was the City Girls featuring Usher. I'm like, oh, okay, so Usher has like a free fucking pass
Yeah.
to do whatever he did because
Well, let me tell you about
Smart.
Wigeon's spot on the top one.
I was gonna say
so
all
don't
this.
get me wrong, right?
None of this is none of this goes without acknowledging the irony that we're sitting here picking apart somebody's song that hit at least number 70 on the charts.
Have you heard my mixes, bro? Like, come on.
like, they actually sound really good, bro.
Took me 3 fucking
2
years.
years, but yeah, this is not to. I just want to acknowledge the fact that nobody here is like making a ton of money off of music, and we're not.
speak for yourself.
Okay. And nobody here is experiencing a level
I
of
am
success,
Mr. Hanky.
even a fraction of that. Okay.
Yep.
However, we are artists that have worked in a setting in the setting of the studio setting that produce things, to whatever value that speaks. We have an opinion on the thing. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's a great
So-
part about art. You're right. You can have that opinion.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, no, it wasn't my favorite tune, I guess.
Yeah. All of that to say, yeah, for sure that I don't
Thumbs down.
love that.
Not
Thumbs
going
down.
into the playlist.
I don't think
The
it's on
drum
the
beat
playlist.
was so lazy too. There wasn't anything different. If you listen to it again, like the only thing that it does is just stop playing and then start again. too.
Yeah.
Like I said from the get go, it was a slow day at the studio.
Yeah.
is what it sounded like.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I agree with you. So we're all saying thumbs down on this one.
Thumbs down.
It's gonna
not
be
going on the
thumbs
playlist.
down for all of them. This is the worst
I don't think
idea.
so. I don't think so.
Yeah, thumbs down.
I believe that there are songs that
There's
have made the top
bangers.
40, that have made the top 100, that we can all agree are going to be great songs. This is the first run at it. I don't think this is a
Maybe
good
you
one.
double this segment, man, and maybe you do number 40 and number 100. You do the two cuts, right? Because
I was going to say slide it up to
the number,
number
40.
40.
Number
'cause
40.
Here's how
the
we do
number
it.
40 is cool. I mean, the top 40, it was top 40.
That's true.
And Billboard took it to 100 probably for a lot of reasons, but
Call it the skid.
We could.
oh my god.
That's pretty good.
Oh,
Good
that is pretty
segment
great,
called-
man.
So that's actually a good podcast name. Also,
Yep.
The Skid.
I was
You
thinking.
said with
I
the
was
worst
thinking.
takes ever.
We'll do bottom of the Billboard and then name 100 songs that are better than this song. Because that's what I'm thinking right now.
I don't have the energy to do that every week.
I'll
There's no way.
I'll start first. Layla by the Allman Brothers.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
100%. It's a
Bringing
great
it back.
song.
I
Bring it
lo-
back.
can I just say for a second here?
No, he can't. No,
Let's-
No, go
let's-
ahead.
No.
Before we move on.
300,000 people already heard what you said, but say it again.
Yeah, just go ahead and try
before-
to repair it now. Stitch it up.
No, there's no
Stitch it up.
stitching up anything.
Got some Band-Aids?
Before we
Yeah.
move on, thumbs down this song. Period. I do not like it.
Okay.
So we've all agreed on that. Layla is a great song.
Yeah.
Okay. And Dwayne Allman's one of my favorite guitar players of all time.
He's all right.
Just slow day at the studio, or
Well, I think
Probably. At the end of the day, that's probably what happened.
I don't know. It's hard to say what that was, but he got a take, and then their engineer did a lot of fucking work to make that thing sound good.
It's hard. Is it hard to play slide guitar in C major?
I mean, I don't think it was probably too hard for Dwayne Allman to do anything he fucking wanted to do.
As
Well,
a
hard for
slide
him to play the right
guitarist?
notes in that song, though. I will say.
Oh.
Can you play? Can you play slide guitar? Anton?
I was going to make a bad
I've
I
never.
can.
I've never seen
I
you
played
do it.
slide guitar on an album.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. Alfred Draconis.
Billy, he listened
When?
to a lot of that album.
I did. Yeah.
Listen to it.
Yeah, I
listen to it
know.
a lot.
Speaking of, I'm really proud of us because we finally got above 1,000 plays on Alpha Draconis.
Hey, that's
did?
awesome.
Oh
that's
my
awesome.
God, he has no idea.
I stopped
awesome, man.
checking. I stopped
There you
checking
go.
that shit a long
As
time
you
ago.
should, but at the same time, we did get over 1,000. And
No,
it's,
we did not.
It's
I-
Alpha Draconis
guys,
that got over 1,000.
I'm
Hell
having
yeah.
a moment
There
right
you go,
now.
man. How about
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Can you believe it?
I'm having a moment right now. Hold on,
Anyways,
let me
back
do
to
this.
slide guitar.
I played slide on this song, bro.
on Alpha Draconis.
Yeah, what?
You play
yeah.
like one note.
It's a
then it was like,
constellation though. So yeah. But here, so speaking to your point about going back and listening to stuff and figuring out where you can make.
Yeah, forget my point.
No, I'm speaking to it right now. I'm speaking to it right now.
Oh, okay, all right.
You're not
that,
letting the idea develop.
that and God, he jumps the gun so much, and
He has
it's a problem.
ADHD.
Let's
I
make-
already know what you're gonna
let's
say.
have a
Like,
therapy
I've already-
session
I've
about
already-
this.
I was
He's already
there
mapped
5
this out
seconds
from,
ago.
from
Yeah.
12 angles, and he's
We've
just waiting to see
Twitch
which
brain.
way it comes in.
I've been there. But
We've been going to therapy about this, and
Oh,
we're
fuck
getting
off.
through it. Anyways,
Sounds like it's going well.
yeah.
Sounds like it's going well.
Couple
What I-
goals.
What I'm yeah hashtag. So what I'm saying is that we had there's a part in this song where we record in the studio, and I was like, there's this whole section here that needs more, and I didn't know what to do. We already done recording it, so I was at home and I plugged in to the rig at home.
Oh, that's
and
why I don't remember.
And
So I wasn't there.
You weren't
for
there
it.
for it.
Oh, okay.
And I started like writing these slide parts to it.
There you
and
go.
Then, so it's a lot of like ethereal stuff kind of in the background. And then there's this one line that I play that's very prominent towards the bridge section.
Are
of the
you
song.
better at slide guitar than Dwayne Allman is on Layla?
I mean,
Boys, I have some news about this whole controversy.
what is it?
This is breaking news in real time.
What is it?
All right, I'm
Did he
on-
die?
No.
I got some bad news for you, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know how to. I
Got
don't
some
know.
real bad news.
He's great at guitar,
I'm
not
sorry.
too good at riding a motorcycle.
That was so good, though.
Well,
we,
yeah.
gotta clip that one,
All
boys.
right.
All right, no,
Have
please
that
don't.
All right. So we're rushing to Dwayne's defense. It's been a hard month for Dwayne Allman.
Yeah.
Originally
Imagine.
played in C major, the engineer sped the tape up, and the resulting pitch is somewhere between C and C sharp.
How cool.
Oh,
Played it in tune.
He played it in tune.
Played
so
it
who's
in
the
tune.
guy that fucked it up?
Tom Dowd.
Tom Dowd.
Who's Tom Dowd?
Have
The
they
engineer.
remastered it to
the-
pitch modulate it down? Is there a version of that out there with
Holy
isolated
shit.
track?
I'll start working on that. I'll see.
Because I guarantee you,
There are isolated
I
tracks. I don't know if it's
guarantee-
modulated though.
I'm guarantee you somebody took that back down and pitch corrected it to
Oh
hear
my
it.
god.
But
I will bet you $1
But
million.
why did they make
there's
that
someone-
choice though? Why did they make that choice?
This
to
is
speed
like
it up?
finding a bloody glove
Oh, you
in
know
a
what it
case
is.
right
You
now.
know what it is? He played it at a time. I'm sure it's what it was.
How did he play? Oh,
Could've
so
been.
they had to speed it up. Oh.
The
So either way,
entire-
he fucked it up. Either
Why
way.
do you hate Dwayne Allman
I
so
love
much?
Dwayne Allman.
No,
One of my
that-
favorites,
you're
guys.
attacking him so much.
No, you're saying they took the entire master and
they
sped
took
it?
the entire tape, so it would.
Oh, so it'd have been
save
relative.
time, yeah.
So it'd have been relative. No,
Yeah,
so
it
that
was.
that's really interesting.
Okay, so why
So
did
that's
they do
jazzy.
that?
He's a half step off, or
Why did they
Well,
speed
it's
it
like
up?
a quarter
step
tone
off
or
from the whole
something,
band.
Yeah,
Wow, what a jazzy part.
yeah right. Yeah, that was
Super
just a
jazzy.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jazzy.
Yeah.
Well, no, but okay, yeah.
just
So
jazz.
if they sped the whole thing up, then he was
Billy's favorite.
still
Yeah,
then he was
100%.
still out of
course.
tune. Then
Yeah.
Of course.
if they sped the whole thing, he's still out of tune. Then
But
Well, that's
they-
what we're saying. It would have been relative
Yeah.
if they sped the mixer or the master up.
okay.
Hang
well,
on. So just speed it up a little bit more,
right.
and it'll be in D, and
There you
it'll
go.
sound even worse, I guess. Actually.
No, it's-
And then actually, if you do that, it's Layla featuring
Yeah.
Chipmunks. It's really good.
it's Layla. It's Layla in
right.
every Allman Brothers key, just in Mixolydian.
Add 9.
Don't get us started on
Have
this.
to
No,
match.
no, we really shouldn't.
Yeah. Anyways, that's what I'm gonna say about that. I think that he missed the mark a little bit. That the engineer did a lot of work to make it sound right, and that's what we're hearing to this day. It wasn't Dwayne Allman's.
No, we're gonna get to the bottom of
Perfection.
that. 100%.
We'll
Come
run
back
this new
next
info
week.
by TikTok and see what they think.
Yeah.
Well, I would love the day that my imperfection resonates like that.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, what a great moral of the story.
100%.
It's enough to make Barry Oakley just cry after he passed away. It's like just listening to the solo over and over again, just crying.
I mean, it is what it is. Everyone's got a hot take at times, right? I stand by it though. 300.
I'll say that's impressive. I mean, I respect it. I respect it.
You shouldn't.
You shouldn't. Okay, so
Well, that was our segue into the next one.
Yeah.
right.
What do you want to talk about next?
Well,
Man,
I
what's
wanna-
next? What's next?
I want to talk about what's next for you guys, right?
Ooh.
So we're working on. So you guys have a
That's
backlog of catalogs. What's the?
We're really working
You guys
on.
trying to hit the next album cycle or
we're,
what?
yeah, we're really working on getting our imperfections to resonate.
Okay, yeah. You guys trying to write iconic songs in the wrong keys?
Yeah,
or-
that's really the main goal. No, I don't know. What's our next goal? I mean, I don't know. Getting this thing out and starting to probably work through all these tunes. We got this big backlog of songs, so there's a lot of stuff that we were doing live. There's a lot of stuff that we've been writing, probably to start working through those and figure out the right kind of show schedule that'll work for us.
Yeah, do you
to-
guys
to
have
use
plans
those.
to tours or tour or do anything
Not
like that?
not any like major touring. Well, I mean, we've got the residency at the Southern Girl that we're doing, getting this album out. I mean, and to be honest, you guys know, we really needed that album out, right? I mean,
Yeah.
our I will be completely, open and honest, right? Our marketing and awareness and all those things, like we've really focused so much on, like, how we play with each other and playing the music. We haven't really invested probably the needed time for touring and things like that we need on the I'll call it the administrative front, right? I mean, one, it's kind of a low benchmark with Janet, so that makes everything longer. We're still working through that. The bigger thing of that, though, is like, we don't have those pieces in place, right, to make those things viable. So that's something that I think we have to figure out or not, right? I mean, the biggest thing for us, I think, is to keep doing what makes us creatively happy. And if that leads to the ability to do other things, it's awesome. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to speak for everyone. I guess I'm speaking for myself, and Aaron will kick it to you, man.
I mean,
What are we doing?
we just
It's a great question for the band leader to ask. Everyone
we,
else in the
we
band.
just
Yeah, what are we
we
doing?
put all our chips in. Let's make the music as great as possible.
Yeah.
And let's create the most happy, positive energy, organic environments. And it's like as soon as the door closes and the last person's in the room at Brandon's house for rehearsal, that happens. And we don't know how it happens. We're not in there like, let's meditate for 10 minutes and then go, or Ben's going to, all right, bring it in, guys, and get a huddle. It's just we walk in like, how did today go? It sucked, or it was great, or I broke my toe today, or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm feeling like crap. I'm sick. We start playing, and all that's like, like the little bubble comes around us. And then that's what we've just been doing. It just seems like, we'll do that with 7 songs, 8 songs, 12 songs, whatever, and then we'll all get really tight at them. We'll be playing them out a lot, and then at some point, Ben will go, come to my house, guys. We got to put this down. Because I know a piece of him's like, I want to mix some more stuff and keep working on my martial art of engineering.
I want to do like one track maybe at a time, right? At this point, we did like the collection and we released that out, and it gave folks maybe a sense of, or how to communicate, right? Like definitely for playing more shows and doing other things, we needed that out there, and we need a lot of other things to go along with it, right? So maybe turn a little bit of attention to some of those things, right? So that we can try to build on the stuff that we've done, but not at the cost of the formula
Right.
of what we're doing. Because no matter of whatever kind of profitability or sustainability, commercial success, all these things, right? I don't think that's the primary goal in our brain, at least.
Yeah.
It's not in front of the art, at least.
Yeah.
And so if we just keep doing that, and like I said at the beginning of this, like we all have it's like this patience because of it. It's all, and we talk with Brandon a lot about this, it's like the respect and desire for the craft itself, which I think is cool. In this group, it's very unique that everybody is really obsessed with that on their instruments, and then how that can be a collective craft. So, I mean, the other stuff, do we probably suffer in some ways because of that? I think so. My kind of pie in the sky hope is that at some point that yields the right kind of thing that people can identify, and maybe we'll get some folks that are really good at that shit that want to be able to help us, right? We're not opposed to help, but that's not the door that we're not like
We don't have an ad in the paper.
right.
Well,
Right. And maybe we should. I don't know the right way. I mean, that's just not my wheelhouse, not Aaron's, Brandon's,
No,
Max.
I think what we're doing is the best way to approach it, because I feel like if we get as good as we can at what we have been doing, the rest should take care of itself.
Right.
It's like if you go out there and just destroy a show over and over again and just murder a crowd over and over again, eventually,
to jail.
eventually,
Yeah,
but,
literally,
well,
you'll go
you
to jail
really
for that.
will. But it's like
Don't
eventually,
get
like
caught, you know what
if
I'm
that's
saying?
supposed, like this entire time we've been a band, it's all been organic.
Yeah.
So it's like organic everything. Ben went through however many people before he finds this group of guys, and then Ben's like, wow,
Something we've talked about before,
it's
We-
just
we
completely organic.
haven't forced anything, or at least I haven't since my other like previous very more serious project, right? And said we're not gonna force anything.
Yeah.
Not that I don't care about it, I'm not pursuing it, but I've really pursued the craft, and then the people showed up somehow into my universe, and I hope that everyone would feel the same. That's kind of been the thing. So what's next? Hopefully record more music. I think maybe a single at a time.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's easier to get out now that we have a body of work, and then book and start to grow based on the stuff that we put out. Because even again, I mean, that stuff took 2-3 years. So the people that we are, personally and musically has all grown a lot, even from when a lot of those tracks were laid.
Right.
So it's like, hey, I want to get out what Aaron's doing now, right? I want people to hear, even outside of a show, right, from a studio context, what Aaron's doing now, what Brandon's doing now. Oh my God, talk about array, like it's just a logarithmic progression, right, of just vicious drumming.
Yeah.
Everybody, Max, myself. Hopefully, I'm growing, right? I want to be able to do that. So probably a single at a time, and then work on the booking and work on maybe trying to find help. That's one thing I don't want to chase, like trying to do all that stuff. I know a lot of folks that do it like DIY and are really good at it, right? You're really good at that. I look at it and honestly say,
I get frustrated really easy.
that's just not,
I tried to wear
I
that hat.
just suck at that.
Well,
You know?
It's not fun.
Well, and even beyond that, like I don't, my belly doesn't burn.
you're
My belly doesn't burn
reptilian.
for that,
Yeah.
Well,
that's sad.
the
unless your belly's cold blooded.
Yeah. Well, if you're
Right.
cold blooded, yeah.
But it's a cold blooded business. I mean, let's
Stay
get
in
real,
Florida.
right? I mean, I'm
for,
just not good at that.
to just a couple of things.
Ask him
You're welcome because you're getting the bottom of the bill bump now, guys. So
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
And
It's drastically needed, as you can tell. We are not, you know.
Yeah.
well, no, and you're welcome. Honestly, you're very welcome,
Thank
and
you,
we're
thank
happy
you
to
very
provide
much.
this opportunity for you.
Well, our next single, since you did ask, is going to be with City Girls. Okay. It's going to be sick.
Is
gonna be
Usher gonna be
sick.
featured on it too?
You know,
No,
we told him.
They're
We
featured.
told him. Consider it out.
Oh, you told him to sit out in this one.
Yeah,
he
just-
could take a
He
lap.
crushed it so much on the last one, and I heard that he does it on hours on end. So he was.
He said, "Sit
would
out."
make
You
and
it.
we're
can't
like,
feature
yeah.
on every
Yeah.
song.
No,
Yeah,
that's true.
not
that's
every
true.
song.
That's
Otherwise,
true.
you're just DJ Khaled.
Yeah. What about him? You guys think about him at all, or?
Only at night.
Okay.
Only at night.
Only on
Um,
Sprite
Man.
commercials.
No, but in all seriousness, so the only reason why the other stuff happens for me is because like I have the time to do that kind of shit. You know what I mean? But then it's also like, you know, the more that we've gone down this road, and like I don't even know how effective like any of that stuff actually is. You know what I mean? It's like you do a lot of it. You go on the road and like you try and get the name out there. And I don't know, like if you don't, I don't know if the days of just hitting the road and building your brand that way is the way to do it anymore. You know, I don't think that anybody's investing in that model like they used to. There's a lot of people that are doing the social media
Well,
thing.
you were just talking about, was it A&R reps going through social
Social
media,
media,
you know, and cherry picking out through that way. So yeah, I mean, we don't know the best. I'm with you. I mean,
And
we don't
try
know the best
figuring out
way.
that fucking world. It's impossible.
Oh my God.
And-
we have no idea.
And I'm not even saying that like hitting the road and doing it that way is not viable. I just don't like it. It wasn't viable for side hustle. You know what I mean? It became to a point where it was so unviable that the band had to like take a break for a while because there's just like that model wasn't working. Maybe it works for other people, but it's also like there's social media, there's streaming platforms, there's SoundCloud, there's like, you know, you can live in fucking Ocala, Florida, and then you can reach out to labels and agencies out in LA or Atlanta or New York or whatever. Like there's ways to reach markets now without having to invest the time, the effort, and that fucking, like, as much as I love the road, holy fuck is it brutal. You know what I mean? Just every day, just nonstop, even your
It's
days off or
fun.
work. It's the most fun I ever have. Like I love going on the road. I love,
But it's
but
definitely
hard.
it doesn't serve a purpose at the end of the day. It is fun, but like even back at home, you're still just like trying to figure out like the Da Vinci Code of how to get your band to be seen,
Right.
and
Well,
that's
it's
all it comes down to. And really, like you don't know, like even like the big wigs up top, they know how to do it. And the lowest common denominator
don't.
is money.
Yeah, but
like
even
for
they don't
the
know 'cause it doesn't
DIY,
work for sure.
I think what he's trying to say is every sort of way that you can go about doing it is a good way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like you're not gonna go wrong. The only way that you go wrong is when you just don't try.
Yeah, and I think too, like what you guys both said, like the flavor that kind of we were talking about, and then like kind of what you said about the road, and then you kind of echoed it back on the road, like how much fun it is.
Yeah,
I think,
it's fun.
but I think that's like the key part of it. Like I think
it's team building too. I will say. You know
I think
what
it's
mean?
like the fun.
yeah.
You know, like if you're doing it for fun, and fun is like the, I'm trying to think of the right way.
If fun's first in line, you know, like right up there with, you know, honesty and everything else that's important, and actually, like you're gonna be fine. As soon as it's not fun anymore, it's like, I mean, we're all a kid here. When
Yeah.
it wasn't fun, you stopped doing it.
Well, I say this as a former kid myself.
Put your attention
so-
somewhere else.
So suspicious though, right? Like,
even just to,
I
to
know.
cue it up like that.
Like, why would you
sure,
say
When,
yeah.
he,
that
when, he,
out
when he was a
loud?
baby lizard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I used to be a child,
Yeah.
I used to be a child.
No. So
and now I break planes of dimensions.
what I'm saying? No. But I
Just
want
like you kids.
yeah, just like you.
I want
Just
to.
like you kids.
All right,
let's let it finish.
What I want to say though about the road thing is that there is a value there deeper than just fun. I don't know that it reaches the most people or that it's most financially viable. I will say that there's a team building exercise in that happens that I don't know that you get as close with people or like you have that connection even to the music and to the experience that you get when you're on the road. Like there is a thing that happens there where you become bonded on a deeper level than just like the friendship and the music. There's like we are out here and we are hurting. We're starving together. We're sleeping. We're sleeping in like terrible conditions together. Sometimes great conditions. Like it doesn't have to be terrible all the time. But it's like you're out here having the best and worst time of your life at the same time. You know, like when the van broke down on the way back from North Carolina the last time, which I'm convinced this is the straw that broke the camel's back for Sean. Anyways,
Yeah, of course.
But there was for as terrible as that was such a bad experience. But I mean, the way that everybody like pulled themselves up, it was like, okay, you make this call, you make that call, I'm gonna make this call, and then we're gonna figure out what needs to be done here. We all like just rose to the occasion like that.
Yeah.
And that kind of like it did like I felt like at the end of that whole thing, it was like for all the music, for all the quirks, you know, like all the little shit that goes on between everybody. At the end of the day, like we all got through that together. We made it work.
It's
you
being
know,
in the trenches together.
yeah. And
I-
so there's a value to being on the road that I will
Sure.
say that's
If I had
a
a
value
quarter
that
for
it
every time
serves.
that Sean looked at me and just went, "What are we doing?"
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be a millionaire.
Sure.
So yeah, who knows? I mean, I don't know the right approach. I mean, I think just trying to make more music, hopefully record more music, and keep seeing what we do.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
With the booking thing, it was just my whole goal when I guess I'm still kind of wearing that hat because Ben picked up a lot of the pieces for the producing and he's got a vault of songs where it's like, hey guys, I got a main course. You guys want to put the extra stuff? And we're like, all right, cool. So there's a lot of stuff like that is kind of ready to go. But it's like with the booking stuff, my whole thing, I learned a lot from Nigel from Firewater. It's like whenever you go book a show, there's an extra guy. You treat it like there's an extra guy on stage.
100%.
Whatever their rate is. I only pay $100 a man. Well, cool. You're going to pay an extra $100. And if they don't want to do that, then you don't want to be at that venue anyways.
Yeah,
or you
for
don't want to go work for that person. So I'm like picking up tips like that. And then on top of it, it's like I really stopped like reaching out and trying to push for things and more of just like, let's make great music and put it out there or make a cool video and put it out there and promote the Southern Grill thing. You want to see us in town, we're playing once a month at least. That's enough time for, you don't go, I'm going to miss them. I'll see them next month. A lot of people are like, man, I have to wait a month to see them again. Or it's the opposite effect of like, I saw them last Tuesday at so-and-so. I'll see them next Tuesday or next Wednesday at so-and-so. You don't oversaturate. But then on top of that, I've always got the bat like ready in my hand. So it's like if a good opportunity's coming over the plate, I'm going to smack the shit out of it. And be like, Ben, this is a festival we got to do. Or if we get in good with these people, it's like risk. It like opens up this part of the continent where it's like you got in the group. Now it's just like Brandon jokes about the hippie hierarchy. And it's like, I'll go play that game and be like, all right, well, who's the head tie-dye around here, man? Let me like,
Who's the head tie-dye?
fucking,
You remember that?
Who's got the
Yeah, I remember that,
the coolest tie-dye shirt? Let me go talk to that guy. But no, all jokes aside, it's like that to me because it's hard to just go out there and be like, it's a completely gray area. I mean, if you look at the metrics, nobody's listening to any of our music here. All right, let's go do a ticketed show there. Good luck, buddy. Everybody's going to be upset by the end of it if they're coming at it from a monetary standpoint. You're not going to sell any tickets. Like you can put $200 in Facebook. You might get 30 people there, depending on the venue or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like the best thing that I've seen work for a band that's been doing it 10 years and from a band I was in for 5 years that did it like that, like hard charging.
Yeah, talk about Road Dog. I mean,
you punched us in the face. We're like, cool. Is that all you got? Like we always came home. We're like, yeah. Anyways, next weekend. And then I'm in there like cooking ramen. Like, yeah, next weekend.
I never heard or seen any group of people that road dog it big famous otherwise than you guys.
Well,
One
it's-
of the things I couldn't believe, like, as I got to know you guys, I said, man, you talk about people that love music and are passionate about doing it because they actually love it. That was one of the big things that made me want to work, you know,
oh, I mean,
I mean, outside of being great and of just the pure passion for, like, this is really, like, I love making music. Like, holy smokes. So to you guys, right, I still haven't picked my hat back up.
well, it's just like sometimes it broke me. Like we played in Atlanta one night, then the next night we had a gig in St. Pete. I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's a lot.
Yeah.
Universal's like, how much do you love it?
Yeah.
I'm just over here like, I love it, but my back hates me.
Yeah.
You know, or we played a gig in Mississippi and in 2 days drove all the way to Colorado.
Right.
And I'm just like going through Amarillo, Texas, like, we're going to jail.
Yeah.
Like we're going to jail right now, dude. We got pulled over in Amarillo. I'm like, this is the moment.
Yeah.
I'm standing there holding the sign. You know, like I had it all played through my head. And he's like, y'all boys have a good night. And we were like, thank God it was just a taillight. And he has no scent for weed because I don't know what the hell happened.
I'm just saying, it's like you can do either or. You can like sit back and relax and try to do it that way, or you can just like, you know, fucking fight your way for it.
Well, it's
Like you're
somewhere.
in
It's
Contra or some
somewhere in the
shit.
middle. I mean, I don't know, but it's
What-
like
What's
getting
the
there.
what's the secret, Tommy,
To what?
to how to make it?
My band just broke up. And I'm like,
I'll give you all the
and
secrets.
I'm like, and I'm fucking, and like,
Is he rubbing in every chance, every
Yeah.
single? Oh, here's a
This is
chance.
the first time you said it.
No,
Rub it
I
in.
mean, I mean, like, if I'm being, we haven't really announced anything publicly, but yeah, I mean, and
you have now.
people know. I mean, yeah. I mean, like, the band broke up, and for the most part, and you know, we're doing a podcast that gets, you know, marginal numbers on it, but I mean, so like to
All
ask
numbers are
me
marginal.
to ask me like what the key to like doing the whole thing, I have no fucking idea.
And that's what I'm trying to get at.
Like nobody has
does.
any idea.
Nobody has any idea.
Yeah, right.
Just
Right.
make a whole podcast about it. It's great because we just talk about anything forever, and then just
Well,
just
that's
go
the
down
kind
a
of-
rabbit hole every time, and then
But
yeah,
that's
there'll
the-
never be any end to it.
But
Yeah.
that's the beauty of like to be honest, that's like the beauty of it, right? Is like you're saying, we don't know. So like doing even like that's one of the things I think is so fantastic about, you know, this specific concept of the podcast, because you explore some of those things, but there's this playful irony in it, just like I think in a lot of people the way they pursue their art, right? It's for the love of that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And if so, you know, then there's the opportunity that people might connect with it, and that becomes an amazing opportunity to take this thing that is really something that means a lot to you and be able to meaningfully share it with other people. But if not, you're still going to be playing. Like, you know, my brother would always tease with me and say, you know, the best guitar player ever, right, is some guy who lives out in Amarillo, who just lives at his house and he just plays. And he plays because he loves it. Like if I wasn't in a band, I would still. I mean, I got an insane practice schedule. I mean, I literally practice when I leave here. I will go practice, and I will practice for hours. And I do pretty much every night. Like all, I mean, and it's not to be I'm practicing every night. It's just that's what I want to do. I want to go sit down and I want to think about my instrument. And I want to play my instrument, and I want to just I don't know. It's just therapeutic, but it's also meaningful in a way, and whatever. And I'd be doing that in any scenario.
Pushing the envelope, no matter what.
Then
Just
you
'cause I
wake up
wanna
and
know-
work a full-time job, and then have a family, and then all that shit, which is insane. Do you take drugs?
You
or
guys
like-
are cousins. He's a reptile too.
Coffee. I mean, coffee.
Coffee.
But you know, it's because I love it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's part of what makes me a good bandmate. It's part of what makes me a good dad. It's part of what makes me a good husband. Is there's this balance in me that recognizes something, and for my specific lens, maybe it's the craft of music or something that recognizes and communes with something way out beyond. So it's like a grounding exercise as much as it is just the craft, right? It's this reminder. It's like looking at the stars, right? It's this reminder that there is this infiniteness out there.
On a floating rock.
Yeah. You know, and that makes me get through all the other things that I want to do and need to do and love to do, right? Like none of those things, being a dad or anything else, are a chore, right? But it amplifies the pleasure of those activities because I've recognized like this infiniteness. It's like the same thing you can see in like somebody you love's hug, right? It's this recognition of like there's this big space that you're lucky to be a part of.
Yeah, you gotta play about it. 100%.
So
I get it.
You know, so I don't know. We don't know. Who knows the best ways? But at the end of the day, none of that really, you know, it doesn't really matter that much.
Best way is honest. That's
Yes.
that's all I'm gonna say.
What are you trying to get at the end of the day? Money, right?
No, man,
Fame, then?
a sense of fulfillment. Like that's what it's all
Just
about.
like Ben said,
Yeah.
he's fulfilled every day, right?
Yeah.
I try.
He
But I
doesn't
thi-
need any of this shit.
I think that all that I think that all that means different things for different people.
It
though,
sure
you know what
does.
I mean? And
It sure
that's,
does.
Yeah, however, you can be
Yeah.
fulfilled. Yeah, for sure.
you know. So, but yeah, I mean,
City
like,
Girls needed Usher to be fulfilled, obviously.
Yeah.
So.
Jesus.
you could do it 80 different ways in
That's
one
what I heard
night.
is very
so,
fulfilling.
Yeah.
You're not fulfilled till you get
That's
to
just-
80.
It's just one of 8 skills he has on his resume.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool though. I mean, that's what makes you lucky to like when you do play, right? And you know that it's so hard and you're kind of throwing it out there and you get these folks that come to your show, right? I mean, that's what makes like the audience so freaking important, right?
Yeah, totally.
Because like their choice.
Right.
Like just as much as you're making artistic choices and all these other things, they're making a choice to come share that with you. So
Well, the thing is it's like, you know, I say that there's a little bit of narcissism to every form of art because you have to believe in whatever it is that you're creating is worth somebody spending their finite amount of time consuming, you know, and there's a little bit of that for sure where I think it's like, you know, that's why you appreciate it so much when people do come out and support the things. You're like, the one thing on, like, in life that's finite is time.
yeah.
That's it. And you've chosen to spend whatever amount that is with us here tonight or spinning our record while you're doing something else. Like, you've chosen to consume that, you know, our whatever time we've spent creating this thing, you've chosen to consume that with your finite amount of this thing, you know, and so it means the world and people do, and I think that there's a sense of fulfillment in just in that, you know. So yeah, I think that's what a lot of artists are chasing, and how it, you know, manifests itself is different for a lot of people, but you know, there's
But why does an artist need to have other people feel that way about it?
they don't need to do anything. It's
Right.
but
That's what I'm trying to get at,
That's
though.
but that's again, it's a personal choice, though, right? There's a way to
Sure.
there's
But
a
why is that personal choice your choice? Is
Because
what
there's
I'm
people
trying to get at.
I don't know, like there's again, that's
It's
such
just
a
weird. Art's weird.
it's-
Can we
it's-
just say that?
it's such a deep
It's definitely weird.
and it's such a
it's definitely weird.
it's such a
Fucking
deep
Oscar
meaning.
Wilde said all art is quite useless. And
I
at the end of the day,
disagree with that
I mean, it
100%.
kinda is.
No, it's not. And the thing is that, like, I think the reason why, you know,
I mean, yeah, it is. Though,
where
right?
where you get meaning from your art, I think, is such a personal thing that it's like, you know, if it means that you need people to hear it because you like and respect it because you need validation, or maybe it's just like the essence of creation in itself that's fulfilling. Like, who knows? It means so many different things to so many different people.
I think that changes over time.
Sure.
Right. So I think if you had asked me as a 18 or 19-year-old what I was doing with my art, and in my early 20s and mid 20s and late 20s and 30s now, right?
Late 30s.
Yep, late 30s now. I'm like Usher.
Just kidding.
I'm like
You're not older than us.
I'm like Usher without the bank account. But yeah, so I mean that changes too, right? And I think that's part of the discovery process is like that's the lesson of why to keep going,
Right.
because it will grow you,
Right.
right? It will grow you. Like the dedication to the thing, if it's a pure lens that you're taking, will change you in ways that you can't imagine, right? So what I think is important now and why I'm doing it now, that's going to continue to evolve as I surrender myself to that process. And I think that's the other thing too. Like it's a form of self-surrender, because you're right. I mean, there's a little bit of irony in that, hey, it's all kind of pointless. But I mean, the whole thing is relatively pointless. And so I think to embrace that and then choose a pointless activity in a maybe pointless endeavor.
Yeah,
right,
why not get the
is-
highest score? Yeah, 100%.
I think
Well, I'm saying it gives you a unique bonding opportunity with
Sure.
the irony of the entire universe. I mean, you're interacting with lots of
Yes.
random mechanics all at
Yes.
once for no reason at all.
Yes.
Other than love, and that may be the only thing.
But
that
how
matters.
how
that's
many
the thing.
how
It's
many
right
more
there.
how many people do you need to bond with? though?
It's irrelevant. Here's the thing, man, is that like okay, I'll speak like without going into like way too much detail. Like what music has done for me, it's been a life-saving thing, okay? And I think that for a lot of people that it has been, okay? And a life-saving thing in the sense where it accompanied by certain, groups of people, it's been something that like where I could have been a member of society that was detrimental to society. You know what I mean? And in my discovery of my love, my passion for music, accompanied with different scenarios, like I became somebody that was like, not just a contributing member, but just like it was more of a positive force, I think, in a lot of people's lives than what I could have been. And I want to be able to create something that's had that influence, that has that influence on somebody else as well. Because like you never know. Like I've had people come up to me and tell me like the song that now we have over 1,000 plays on, Alfred Draconis, like as
1,001 plays.
as crazy as it is, I've had people tell me how much just like that message means to them. Whatever, it's one person, who cares? Like it doesn't, like that to me means everything.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
That's what I mean.
That there's one person or 1,000 people or
So just
10,000 people.
Just go
in the
for
crowd.
the one person at the end of the day.
Okay.
Do your best, and if one person likes it, maybe more people will.
But my point being,
How else are you gonna do it? It's all crazy and random.
yeah. But all I'm
It
saying
is.
is that the point is that you want to have that effect on somebody's life, and you believe that your art can do that.
Okay.
So you try and like, but then also, like there is a part of it where it's like, at least for me, like I have a real hard time like holding a job and working for other people. There's a part of me that like that doesn't do that well either. So to me, I feel like my time spent on this earth is best spent creating and being a part of that. So like I want to spend all my time making that reality for myself. You know what I mean?
There's that. This is the only thing I've ever been good at.
This is the only thing I've ever been good at.
Right.
So it's like I've tried to work jobs. I tried to go to school. I got fired or I dropped out or whatever. Nothing held my attention. And I know that I'm only a good person when I'm creating. When I'm not creating, I'm not a good person to be around. It just is
Destructive.
truth.
Right.
Self-destructive.
He's all
destructive
right. He's
in,
all right.
destructive in general, right?
Right.
Self-destruct. And so to me, I have to spend my time making that a reality for myself. I don't just mean like making enough to pay the bills. I mean, like I need to like be enough to like take care of my partner, take care of I want to be able to take care of my family because this is the way that I know how to do it,
Yeah.
right? So that to me is why I spend so much time grinding and figuring out the other aspects of this thing. It's all in service of the creation of the creating. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that was a bit of a longer-winded rant than I wanted to go on, but that's
Cool demonstration just how personal it is to everybody though.
Exactly.
Right? And I think that's so cool. I mean, what is it about the process of creation that either facilitates or itself creates an environment where you can be the best Anton that you can be? And what does it say for the rest of the environment, right? That day to day you participate in, right? When you don't have that to guide you.
Exactly.
Right? And it's really unique. I know we talked before. It's funny because as I was saying, be the best Anton. I know I've
That's a
you said this
callback.
before.
That's
Yeah,
why I
it's
was
a callback.
laughing.
100%.
But it comes back down to that. How cool does that theme, reemerge and present itself again? Is right. It's
only when you're around, really.
oh god. No, but that's really. I mean, in all seriousness, right? I mean, that's what the power of not just art, but art is just a refraction of like love. I think the part about that, whether you move yourself into a point of being an artist or it's a spiritual or religious experience or whatever it is, it's like that act of surrender, right, is that kind of it's hard to think about how to describe, I guess, the feeling that I want to represent, but surrendering is a transformation that you don't force. And I think, like, when we talked before, like, about not forcing things, that's why that's so important. There's this element of surrendering yourself to this way that I think itself is opening a door, regardless of what comes with it from a worldly perspective.
Right.
Right? Is that act of surrendering is very courageous, right? And I think anybody doing their art, whether you're an artist or you're an LD or you're a front of house engineer or you're
An agent, even if
whether you're an
negotiating
agent,
contracts, whatever it is.
whether
you
you're
know.
an agent or whether you're in any other media, a dancer, right? We talked about like all media of art, before
Just
as well.
entertainment, really,
Or it could be, it could be anything of expression.
Literally
right?
anything, yeah.
Comedians.
Literally anything.
Comedians, a
painters,
surfer,
surfers.
who knows, right? A roller derby, gal. I mean, it could be any of those things, right? And it's that surrender to like this art form or this thing that you love or this passion that's like
Greater than yourself.
transformational experience.
Yeah, totally.
And or shit. I mean, even our probably the most important for us, right? People that choose to come to live music,
Right.
right? I mean, that's a serious thing for a lot of people. It's a religion to so many people.
Yeah,
truly,
totally.
and truly a religion. And I think the reflection of all of those things is like kind of the love that bonds all this stuff together. Because otherwise, you're right. It's all pretty pointless, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's looking for meaning or trying to share meaning or trying to commune in some way. Even people that retreat from other people, right? There's some kind of act in that.
Right.
And I think leads you to hopefully peace. And that peace comes, I think, in my experience, right? Maybe not everyone's, but in mine, it's coming from that act of surrendering.
I think more of what I was trying to say, and Oscar I was trying to say, is like the actual like product of art is quite pointless.
It's
everything else that comes around it. That's what humans,
I totally get you.
reptilians, like come up with.
It's just it dismisses like the whole thing of what that product means to other people.
what it
and
means to
that's
people,
why it's not
and
pointless.
that can't be argued.
You just
Right.
put such an awesome bow on this. I don't know if and maybe I just am now recognizing the genius that is Billy, but like,
Well,
but I mean seriously, I mean like put that way. I mean the way you explained it there. So the product, what the product is when you say that is it's like the end point. So
Yeah.
it's all living, breathing surrender, and then you get to that end point where you try to package it and put it out, right? And then like the art part of it is, hopefully it's communicating, but for you as the creator, it stopped, right?
Yeah.
That's been the hard part about that recording and all that stuff. To bring it back is like the
creating stops.
the creating of it has stopped, and now you're looking for that bridge.
But it's all
to
about
walk
like
back there again.
how you can digest that and what it means to you, and like, are you fulfilled in doing that? If you need to be fulfilled by having 1,000 people at your show,
not-
then you need to do that.
I
But
hate
if
how
you're
you
just
downplay
happy
it so
being
much.
yourself, all I'm trying to say is this:
It's like
when you're thinking about Tony, when you're thinking about all of this, do you play better or worse?
when I'm thinking about anything, I'm always playing worse.
You're playing worse, right?
Yeah, but that's not. But it's so dismissive though.
No,
what you're
I'll
saying.
I'll let you talk, but just remember my point. Keep going.
And also this is all just kind of like speaking to the idea. It's never the destination. It's like the ride, the journey
Sure.
there, right?
Yep.
It's very like, but it's
Now when we're
I
playing,
heard Miley said it's a climb, really.
yeah,
now when we're playing
is
at
actually- it is that, yeah.
I heard
at
it was
like
the climb.
we're playing like Mellow Mushroom or something like that. Or where did we play? We played at Wicked Barley a couple weeks ago, and nobody gave a shit about us. How well did you play?
I played terribly that day.
No, you didn't.
I did play terribly.
We played
that day.
amazing.
No, collectively we played well.
100%. No, he
No,
did good.
I played terribly that
He
day.
did well. Superman does
No,
good,
no.
but he did well.
I did
But-
not do well.
All I'm trying to say is, oh wow,
Top notch stand we got.
Fucking
here.
music-
only the
music's
best for
music's
Bob
trying to
Ray
get
Doe.
after me. He's like,
That's
don't
falling
say it.
apart.
That guitar's like, I'll get you, boy.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. I just
It's
think
literally
the,
like,
the,
play me.
the less you care about this, the happier you'll be.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I mean,
I think at the end of the day is what I was trying to get at.
okay. Well, that's an interesting perspective, but
I think the pyramid at the top should be happiness.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's all yeah. It should always be in service of a sense of fulfillment. I think in service to the art, in service to like whatever your thing is that looks like the end, like whatever grants you fulfillment. That's or fulfillment. Sorry, whatever that's what it's got to be. Is like whatever grants you the fulfillment.
Not everyone can do it. Let's just start there.
Yeah.
There's some people who, if you can teach them all day how to, like, this is clapping on time. And by the end of the day, you're going to be like, never mind, dude.
Be honest.
You need to be a lawyer.
Be honest. Are you the kind of guy that claps in the 1 and 3 or what?
No, I'm more of like the and of the two, and the end of the four, you know. But that's because Brandon Howell's my best friend.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like,
Amen.
you know, there's more than one beat and 2 and 3 or 4. There's more than 4 beats in a measure.
No, there's not. It's just 4,
There's-
bro.
Like,
That's what
let's get
musicians
There's
do.
interesting.
one
Let's get
E and
interesting.
I. There's like, you know,
miss
there's
Brandon.
really 16. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Where's
what did you just do to my brain? You
Yeah,
know,
or you can break it down more. You can do quintuplets and sextuplets, and you can do like,
I mean, I like Zappa, but not
Yeah.
everybody does. You know?
All right, so let's go to bottom of the Billboard, or sorry, bottom
No, let's
line
do it
news.
again.
Yeah,
Let's
bottom
bring
line.
it back, City Girls.
Number
Let's
99.
do it again.
The remix.
You guys know we're spending this whole episode just talking, and then in between our speeches, we're gonna do every
Snippets,
song
apparently.
down from 100 all the way to 1.
So the,
Oh, yeah.
the remix. Have you heard?
99. Roll.
Yeah,
Let's go.
okay.
You know what's crazy? Before he goes into this, the world record for the longest podcast ever, 49 hours.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I think if we
I
get,
think it starts tonight, right?
yeah, if we,
That's right.
I think if we get
2 people are fired and single after
Yeah.
this.
Yeah,
that's a
that
49-hour
sounds about
podcast.
right, yeah.
Maybe 4 at this point.
okay, let me pull this article up. If we can pull it up on the television.
I would appreciate if you brought an article to light that would be a little bit recent that we could talk about that everybody kind of knows about this time. You know
Oh,
what
well,
I mean?
today's your lucky day, Bill.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. So, here we go. Let me pull up this one that I sent to Ben. This is the most recent message I got. So today's bottom line news segment is. Are you guys ready for it?
Yeah.
I'm ready.
If Kanye West needed any more publicity,
I was about yay.
so CAA, his agency, and like pretty much everyone else's agency, has cut ties with Kanye West after his recent anti-Semitic remarks and some other wild shit that he's had to do. And it's kind of like
Fake news.
fake news. Pretty timely, I would say, because he also just made a whole statement about how like Adidas would never drop him if he makes like anti-Semitic remarks, and Adidas did actually drop him as well. And I don't know. I think it's pretty wild. This whole
And I think the sequence was actually opposite. I think the CAA stuff came out, and then Adidas dropped him today.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I went through. I found. So you sent this article over, and I went and found a really cool synopsis that had nothing other than a time series of events
Yeah.
that Forbes released, just kind of cataloging the last several weeks of things he's done, because I hadn't really been following this.
Chris, I sent you the article. You can pull it up on your end whenever you get a chance.
I haven't
Yeah.
been following it very close.
Yeah, neither have I.
And so I was like, well, okay, you know, what's up with this? So I found this synopsis that they published today, since Adidas is now dropping him, and that's another big thing. I guess a lot of his financial
They've got a pie chart already on it.
leverage comes from that Adidas relationship.
Yeah.
So a lot of his, I think he's a net worth was something around $2 billion, and a huge piece of that came from the Adidas relationship. And so they had published this time series of like the last, I don't know if it was a month or 6 weeks or something, of just things that have been leading up to
been
this.
like a week, man.
I mean, I think, yeah, I don't know. Let's see.
No, it was longer than that because I listened to Andrew Schultz release that whole thing. Like
That was a
like-
beautiful 60 seconds.
Yeah, he really.
He's on
Knocked
Piers Morgan and said all that stuff. Well, really, what it came down to was
No, I mean,
the tweet that he
it's
made.
been like 2 weeks,
Billy's
right?
right. Billy's right. October 3rd was the first in this. I mean, he's got a past of being very controversial.
Well, no, that's like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
That's
so
the
that's 3 weeks.
22nd.
But yeah, about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So I was a little long.
Today's the
But it was a
25th.
good time lapse of kind of everything from October 3rd till today.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting to read kind of that time series of, and this again is not an opinion article. It's just literally a timeline of events.
Yeah.
And they don't say, there's no commentary in the article at all, which I thought was a cool. So decent job on just presenting information, right? But yeah, really wild. I didn't know any of that.
Yeah. So I actually don't know the full extent of what he said. Chris, do you have the article there?
He just has one tweet that I read.
But it was an
that
interview that he said that he
in I saw that.
There's a whole. I mean, there's a lot.
I watched that as well. I'm not trying to defend him by any means because
Just give him your email, Chris.
he broke the cardinal rule of rapping, which is always be pros.
Jewish.
Yeah, I can't think of the word.
Yeah.
I was really just
Not
where
really.
Schultz was
What's the
at,
word?
where it's like I really just hope he's bipolar.
Well, so
Yeah, without a
Because
doubt.
if he's not bipolar, then I'm just like, wow.
But it's weird.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So he's had a very
I'm just
public.
like,
So I went, but he's got a very public thing since 2016, I think, or 2016 or 18, where he's been very open about having bipolar disorder.
Oh, okay.
And he's got, a long history of issues or struggles with being on and off medication for those kind of things. And so this is not a statement about is he on or off medication. I mean, that to me isn't quite, it's hard to say be fair after some of the things he said, right? But that's not the point of what I'm going after. So yeah, but just interesting because there's definitely underlying issues. The cool part about seeing that timeline when you're trying to think about this is it definitely feels episodic.
Totally.
Right. So when you see this stuff on a time series and you see it escalate, and I just sent over a link that's that really good timeline to kind of show all the different things.
Yeah, that tweet that he says like a little bit farther down, Chris, is I guess not farther down, but that was what was the worst thing. Although, as far as I can tell, and I could be wrong because I don't know, the entire
Is he
scope
banned-
of this,
is he
but he
banned
said
from Twitter yet?
he did
Oh, yeah,
did
they
a
shut him
really
down
really
on
bad
everything.
tweet,
They shut him down on everything.
but I'm not really
Yeah,
sure.
Here, I sent this to you if you want
MRC.
to pass
I'm not
it. If
gonna
you want to
say
pass
it.
it on.
You sent it to me?
Yeah.
Okay. It also, MRC Entertainment just cut ties with him, who is a company that was producing his documentary. They just wrapped up, so now they're not going to release that.
Yeah, not even a year ago they came out with the genius
I haven't gotten it yet. Ben.
Netflix documentary about him being a genius and everything. I just don't understand like what's happening with him and why.
Well, if he's bipolar like that,
he's
man,
going through a bad divorce, I guess.
I think the issues are probably deep.
He's got 4 kids and
Yeah.
everything. That
he's-
must suck.
Bro, he was on the news back
Why
in
are you
like
saying
2004
anti-Semitic shit?
saying that like George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Oh.
And then, but just the point being that like he also then the whole thing where Beyonce where he comes up and like interrupts Taylor Swift's acceptance speech about.
But then like a month later he was on Jay Leno and Jay Leno made him cry thinking about his mom dying.
Because
I just think it's all.
I think these
don't
things are
think it's
episodic as well. I mean,
Yeah.
this
Right.
just shows the struggle like over time when obviously he's going through very stressful things. I think there's a breakdown in his cognitive function, and if he's not well medicated, any of that stress, and I'm not making an excuse for the behavior. I think the crazy part is one, he's got the freedom to mentally on top of his game or not to say and do those things. What he does not have freedom from is response to those statements.
Right.
So if he feels like those are the things that he needs to communicate, he is free to do that.
Sure,
He
yeah.
is not free from the perception of that. He's not free from the ramifications
Yeah,
of that. He's
exactly,
not
bro.
free from what that does to the work that he's done. It affects a lot of different people. It affects himself. I mean, it's really actually sad to see whether you
Tarnishing a legacy.
And what's dangerous about this rhetoric is that like this is the kind of rhetoric that was said.
Did you see the Nazis on
Thank
in
you.
LA
That's just about to say.
that were
No.
on the overpass that were like giving
I
the
did not see
Hitler
this,
salute?
no.
You didn't see that?
No, I didn't see this.
Chris, if you can
Coming
pull it
right
up,
up.
that I'd appreciate it.
But here's a problem, okay? Is it doesn't take a crowd. It takes a small amount of people to put
Yeah,
forth.
to get bigger and bigger.
And what's dangerous about what Kanye is saying is that this is the kind of rhetoric that a small group of people were saying in pre-World War II Germany.
it's never first of all, it's never okay.
That's what I'm yeah.
It's never okay. There's not an excuse for hate speech, especially. I mean, this stuff is pretty wild. It feels super episodic. It feels really wrong. I don't know. Hopefully he's getting some kind of professional intervention, whatever that means. And but I don't think you can. Like I said, you have the freedom to say crazy stuff if you want.
Yeah,
You
for sure.
you are not free from the repercussion of the crazy things that you say.
100%.
With his kind of influence and his platform, at some point you think somebody would be like, "Come here, buddy, try this jacket on." You're like, "Why are my arms behind my back?" Oh my god! And then like,
there's
Try this jacket
Why does
on.
it tie backward?
yeah, why is it tied backwards?
it's a new Adidas fashion. I want to wrap up this segment because this leads me right into unpopular opinions.
Which
And
Kanye West had a real good one.
yeah,
If you want to segue.
Jesus.
Thanks for lightening that up because it was getting so heavy for me. I was like, we need to make some clarifying statements here. Like, we are not the experts, and
I am very
course
good
not.
at
This
making anybody smile in any situation.
thank you, man, because I needed that. I was like, this shit is it's such a stray into like darkness. I'm like,
yeah.
Yeah.
But I want
it's
to.
the worst thing on the fucking planet.
But
sunshines and rainbows.
I want to get to unpopular opinions because I do kind of want to still build in this concept just a little bit. Not saying that we're the arbiter of anything here, right? However, we can recognize trends over the course of history, and we can say this is where they lead to. We should, if we're going to make claims, we should at least be careful that we're not trying to do the same thing that happened
and have a
50
passionate
years ago.
opinion to make things better.
Exactly.
So I don't think it's wrong to discourse on this stuff. And don't get me wrong, I don't think it's bad to bring it up. I just think, we
It's
should.
dangerous territory.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So
Slippery slope.
the
as
way
they say.
the way that
Pretty
it's,
cut and dry to me. Fucking cancel this asshole.
Okay,
Fucking
right.
doesn't make a shit.
so
There you
hold
go.
on. Let me get into unpopular opinions real quick. My unpopular opinion this week, I'm just gonna kick it off right off the bat, is that this hating on woke culture is getting a little tired.
Hating on woke culture?
Yes.
Woke culture? What do
Yeah.
you mean?
Is that this whole concept of woke culture is like destroying.
Are you
Uh,
are you joining my?
No.
Going over here, the
I'm gonna get to that in a
SJWs
second.
would love another fucking
I'm gonna get to
member,
that in a
bud.
second. I'm gonna get to that in a second. I don't think that hating on woke culture is doing any service to anybody. This idea that like somehow people should not voice their opinion on things, and by the own principle of conservatives who are typically against the woke culture thing, saying the free market shouldn't dictate how what happens at businesses is hilarious to me. Okay, I'm pretty conservative by all metrics. Okay, and I believe that woke culture has a place. Right, the canceling thing I think does have a place. I'm not saying that we need to cancel everybody who says something, a little bit controversial or whatever. However, I don't think the government should be making those calls either.
No.
So then who makes the calls?
The CEO of Twitter.
The people make the calls, right?
Zuckerberg.
So
Yeah, he's right though.
Just being honest.
who's a person and like a business, as far as I'm concerned, can make that call.
Oh, you want to nominate
No.
just a good-hearted American? Oh, it doesn't
No,
have to
no,
be
no.
American. Just
Well, no, they
person
hire
in
a
the
team,
planet.
a team of programmers.
I have a
who-
couple
what I'm-
nominations right now.
I know a guy from Kentucky.
Born
Yeah.
and raised, want to fight about it, and then also I would say Dolly Parton, 100%. She gets to make the decisions.
What I'm saying,
I would give a lot of my decision-making power to Dolly Parton.
Thank you.
Rock and
Yeah,
roll,
I'm
rock and
not
roll
kidding.
Hall of Fame
I'm
member.
not kidding.
I
You
believe
can fucking vote for me, Dolly Parton, if you're listening. I'll give you my fucking socials right now.
I just I just think that this idea of of hating on people there are some people that should be canceled. That's just like Harvey Weinstein. That guy's got to go. Okay, Kanye West for the
Gotta
shit that
go.
he
I
said.
mean, he's in
let's
prison. He's done.
let's shut it. Let's shut it down. Let's
You
shut.
gonna arrest
right?
Kanye West? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, and then
You heard
Richard
it here first.
Richard Spencer, someone like him. Okay,
Oh no,
Let's-
what's wrong with Dickie Spence?
Dickie Spence. Okay, so
Once you just get straight racist on a big platform
And he's just
in
misunderstood.
front of
all right?
everybody.
No, yeah, he should
just
rot in hell.
saying, there's there's broad parameter, or there's very specific things that if you do this is what's gonna happen.
exactly, ramifications need to be had. Right?
If you touch
If
the
people come
stove,
out-
your hand's gonna get burned.
Exactly.
It's just how it is.
I'm not saying we shouldn't let them debate on stages and we shouldn't have discourse about them.
Or
about
have
it with them.
parties in Charlottesville or whatever.
But all I'm saying.
One more of those and I'm muting your mic.
Yeah, I was saying
Thank you,
this-
Chris. Thank you.
And I'm sitting next to Billy. He's making me real uncomfortable, y'all.
Yeah.
Richard Spencer's a fucking is Satan. Is that your unpopular opinion?
No, man. My unpopular opinion is that people should be allowed, societies should be allowed to call out what they don't agree with and then shut it down. That's how, to me, that's how free markets work.
That's your unpopular opinion?
Yes, that's my unpopular
Is
opinion.
that society should cancel people?
Just that the idea of hating on people that are woke, quote unquote, or that are trying to cancel things, hating on it is just getting a little tired to me. Like people are talking about it constantly. It's like this whole woke culture, this whole cancel thing. It's like I'm not on board with it either. But at the same time, it's like if we as a society decide that somebody shouldn't have a voice because it's dangerous, and they shouldn't have a platform because their voice is dangerous, and we don't want them to compete anymore in our markets, that's totally reasonable. I don't see what the problem is with that. You know what I mean?
It's capitalism in a sense.
Exactly.
People are going to spend their money where they want to spend it.
Exactly.
You know?
I'm
If you
still
do the
trying
best
to-
at making them spend their money at your place, then good on you.
Exactly.
I'm still trying to digest this. So you're saying you're
I
unpopular
think you're the
opinion.
only person having a hard time with what I'm saying.
I
right
am
now.
because I don't understand how you think this is unpopular because you make fun of me all the time
Yeah, I
with this.
do.
Your unpopular opinion is that you think that woke culture is a good thing.
I think that it has its place. Yes.
So the only people who don't think that's a good thing are the same people who were having a party at the Capitol and think
no,
that
I
Donald
disagree
Trump
with
didn't
that.
win the election.
No, man, I listen to a lot of podcasts with comedians, and they all hate on it too.
Yeah.
I mean, like people hate on this woke culture thing. Like
Well,
it's,
half those guys got canceled
yeah,
for
sure.
one joke or two jokes.
Yeah, and that's to me irrational. But as a society, if we believe, or for them being totally misrepresented too, right? But like as a society, if we're looking at the facts of what's actually happening, and we're deciding that somebody should not be allowed to compete anymore because their platforms are dangerous or their voices are dangerous to have a platform, then that's on us as a society to make that decision. Like, because it falls in somebody's hands at some point. If it's not us, it's the government. I'd much rather the people have that voice than the government deciding that you don't get to say this or say that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Better than the algorithm.
Thank you for
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you for saying that.
I just
My heart is beaming right now.
it's funny how you're dismissing it as like not an unpopular opinion. It's very unpopular
No.
to say that woke culture is like okay right
has
now.
a place and time.
It's
Yeah.
not, Tony, and we'll welcome you into our fold.
You're so. Anyways, anybody else have anything to say about that, or we can move on to somebody else's
No,
unpopular
we're all
opinion?
agreement.
I'm waiting on
Maybe you can say what you want.
But Bill's unpopular opinion. I'm excired.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want to know.
a little bit more lighthearted than this whole conversation. My unpopular opinion this week is I really love Fran Drescher's voice.
Okay.
I love it, 100%.
Cool.
I love the Yankee accent. I got a Yankee girlfriend now from New Jersey.
Who doesn't sound like that?
No, and I do love her, but like every now and then, I'm like,
Yeah, can you put that
come on,
voice on
come
a
on,
little
put
bit?
it on
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll catch her doing some good
Is that
stuff.
the role play stuff that you guys do?
Yeah,
She's like
just
Fran
ask her if
Drescher,
if she told her boss's daughter to go buy a pot of coffee on the corner for a quarter. We can all say that
She
here.
throws
We're
a
from the
pinky ring
South.
on and puts an accent on you.
She can't say that,
Yeah.
but I love making her say it. Anyways, yeah, Fran Drescher, 100%.
Cool.
First crush, without a doubt, and I love her voice.
Okay,
right on.
cool.
Nothing.
I mean,
That's where we're at.
it's like
We gotta be serious now.
I don't know.
No,
that's
we gotta get back into it.
That's a popular opinion, actually.
You think so?
I think
I
so.
mean, she got extremely famous off that voice.
Yeah, but I really like it a lot. Everybody says it's so annoying. Did I do another one?
Yeah.
Shit.
Redo.
I
Redo.
thought everybody hated it.
Re-roll.
Billy doesn't know how this segment works.
I
guys.
do.
He just
I
It
does.
just
just
think
happens
that
every
the
time-
opinions
every
that I
time.
have are mine, and then I realize
It's-
that I'm just,
You live
a
under a
very
rock.
relatable guy.
It's better.
It's just very relatable.
better
yeah,
than
I'm a
mine.
relatable person.
Yeah.
When I was here, the new Batman just came out, and I was like, I actually like it. I think that's unpopular, and they're like, most people
What's
are
your
like
unpopular opinion?
it. My unpopular opinion. Damn, I was gonna let Ben go first. Ben's better.
Yeah,
at
let
this.
Ben go first. That's fine.
I didn't prepare for this, to be honest.
Unpopular opinion, Ben.
I know you got one just off rip. It can literally. He has told you that Fran Drescher's voice is great, so it can be literally anything.
Really,
And you know this.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. My unpopular opinion would be.
Stainless steel frets are
I
better
got.
than.
I was gonna say I can give you some of that. No, my unpopular opinion is that we've got an unhealthy addiction to sports figures. I think we got a really unhealthy relationship with
Barkley had the best quote about that.
with
I'm not
sports
a
figures.
I'm not a role model.
No, he's not. He never won a championship. That's
And
damn
I,
right.
I think we put way too much emphasis on that stuff.
Well,
And I think to a certain point where it becomes unhealthy. Like I think we let that inform and influence a lot of what we think,
Is awesome.
you know, capability is, or worth is, or exceptionalism is, right? So like what instead of other values that I think we could put in a higher regard and probably touch and inspire more people. Not that, and that's not to say that just like a musician, right? Someone who works very hard to become an amazing sports player or athlete of any kind, right? It isn't totally deserving of the
Admiration.
admiration.
You're
of
killing Billy
people.
right now.
But I think that there is so many other things that as a culture, right, we could prioritize, not at the expense of athleticism or dedication or the things that it takes to be a great athlete. But if we could take those elements of what it takes to be a great athlete and prioritize those things. So if athleticism is not a path for you, or just like if maybe being a great rapper, right, is not a path for you, that you can take the principles of the things that made that success and apply them to whatever path you're on. Like I think the approach is wrong. So maybe that's what it is.
What is it about the admiration of great athletes that you think is not about those things?
It points to an end game. It doesn't point to the process, right? It doesn't emphasize the building blocks. It emphasizes just a result, at least the way that I feel like I see it presented most often.
Are you a fan of sports?
Yes.
Okay. That's
What?
That's an interesting perspective
Yes.
because I'm not.
I love hockey. I think football's pretty cool. I like baseball. I played sports. I was a long distance runner. I'm in love with surfing
Okay.
as part of like what my lifestyle is.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. But what I appreciate from having done those sports and really being into that
Is the
stuff
journey.
and not just the journey, all the different qualities that you build in that journey that I think when you look at like, I want to be a super athlete or whatever, right? It's kind of like the end game, like the fruits of that labor, right? And I just think, look, there's a lot of people that maybe don't get the best juice from their squeeze because they're looking at what other people's end results are opposed to the things that help lead to that. And I feel like there's a lot to be learned there.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, for sure.
Like,
And that's not a slight against anybody in professional sports. I'm just picking on that because it's such a. I don't want to go back to like media and music stars and blah 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 because we've kind of been there for a while in this space. But I think sports is another area where if we could emphasize some of those qualities, like I really love seeing, like when they do in the different and I think every league has like a variation of it, right? But it's like the person of the year, like what is it, Walter Payton or something, man of the year or whatever.
Man of the year. Yeah.
Right, where they show like the outreach and the different things that this person has done that makes them awesome outside of whatever their abilities and sport. I love that. I'd love to see like more of that. So again, it's not to take away from the performance or the or any of the things, right? But I think it becomes about things in the high level plain Jane view of what it means to be that. And I just like to see it emphasized because I think it would give better credit to those players themselves as well, right? About what really credits their journey, right? I'd like to see more celebration of that.
It's brainwashing a bunch of young kids to be results oriented, and that's a trap. You should be process oriented, because if you just fine tune your process, then the results are going to come.
And it could be anything.
It could be anything.
Yeah.
But you can't be results oriented. Results oriented is just a dead end. You have to be process oriented.
Aren't goals like indicative of the process though?
Right. But what I mean is like you can't wake up every day and go like I'm not going to have a good day if I don't win, because life's going to kick you in the head every single day no matter what anyways.
That's what you're saying. Yeah.
So it's like you have to have, if you try to make the process better every day, then eventually, if you get really good at building a table, you're going to build a sweet table one day.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing we were talking about earlier, where it's like, I'm personally trying to make the process of me playing music better, because I know that my little wedge into the pie is going to be, it's going to make it better. And I like us because I'm in a group like that. And I think that's the best way to do it. It's just my opinion, but it's like whatever. And I've heard a lot of people smarter than me that say it's like, it's about the process. It's the 10,000 hours.
Right.
It's not I want this and I'm not going to be happy and I'm not going to do anything until I have this. Well, what if you don't ever have that? What if you get to almost touching it and then you get in a whatever happens, something
Which is what
unfortunate.
most people do. You know
Right.
What I mean?
You know, most people, everybody that we're talking about pro athletes is like half of the 1%. You know how many people are in the NFL?
Yeah,
You know how many
not even
people
close.
want to be in the NFL?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, look how many people get classified through their journey, right, as, unworthy or not whatever because they're not either an athlete or they're not capable of this or that or whatever, right? Like, if some of those other attributes were emphasized, they would find that same sense of self-worth maybe more readily available to bring it into their sense of being and apply themselves in a different way. And I feel like that would be a really cool space to see. So not that it takes away from any of these traditional things that we have, culturally looked up to. That's not the point that I'm trying to emphasize here. I'm saying if we could take truly those attributes and spread the application of them around, we would probably reach a lot more people to find fulfillment and to be the best version of themselves that they can.
I half agree with you because I do understand without a doubt that, yeah, it is impossible. I wanted to be a professional basketball player my entire childhood.
I thought you were 6'9".
I'm not.
Just kidding.
5'9", actually.
Yeah, 5'9".
On a good day.
Yeah.
But
I'm
You're a
off.
good
I will
size.
say about this, it does provide a lot of inspiration for people that may
Yep.
use that to find other things. I do totally agree with you. They shouldn't idolize anybody. I believe that's in the Ten Commandments somewhere. Secondly, I will say that it's easier to become a professional athlete than it is an astronaut. So,
No.
well,
Look, I mean, I totally get where you're coming from, and I feel like, look, just that
frisbee
goal,
golf,
like
pro-
that
pro
dream,
shuffleboard.
right? Like from a child's eye, that dream may lead you to develop those characteristics because the desire, the goal may instill you in those steps. But I just think that it would be really great if we built the awareness of those steps along with the dream. And so, yeah, a 6 or 7 year old is probably not going to understand what dedication and discipline and all those things, and may not be in love with that. So maybe the idea of that isn't beneficial there. But I'm thinking more about like young adults, that have hopefully some perspective to kind of get those things balanced, right? And I still see a lot of people of all different ages, right? So yeah, I mean, maybe it doesn't fit for a 6 or 7 year old where that dream of like, yes, I want to be a whatever. And even kids as you get older, right? So we're trying to reduce the thought of dreaming. I just feel like
start at middle school.
like give those tool sets to people earlier,
Right.
and see how far they can fly, and they may find other things to fly at. I think that'd be great.
What you sound like Mike Rowe though about like don't chase your dream, just get the fucking just learn how to hang drywall really well,
but here-
and you'll eat forever.
But I think that this is kind of applicable to that as well, though. And I think that
As a musician,
just hanging drywall, even right?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, is that the emphasis should be more on the process of achieving those things, like the work ethic and like what it takes. But then there's something more than that, though, right? Because it's not just like the talent, right, that gets you there. And make no mistake, when I'm talking about talent, I'm talking about the work ethic and the ability to make yourself better and the drive. That is the talent.
that's not talent.
And then
Hard work beats talent a lot.
yeah, I mean, it is that is the talent. At the end of the day, that's what it boils down to, like the work that you put into the thing.
Fucking Deion Sanders ran
So-
the fastest fucking 410 on the fucking planet, and just didn't even fucking warm up. He came in a limo, fucking dressed up in a fucking suit, and then just fucking took off. Broke
So-
every fucking record in the combine.
There's the next point that
What?
I'm trying to make.
Hard
is that
work. Like, what are you
there's-
talking about, dude?
there's a next point of that where it's like understanding the value that you bring to the table once you have accomplished those things, right? Because it's like those people that are at the top, whatever. I don't know shit about sports.
There's
okay?
there's a
Obviously.
pecking order.
But, like-
I'll never run a 410 in my life. I see where Billy's coming from too.
That's fine. I understand. Look, there's the outliers, right? That they can do things like there's people that pick up an instrument and just got it, right? That's not what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
But there's people that also had to work hard that can get to that point as well. What I'm saying,
Well, not better than Deion Sanders.
what I'm saying is that
He played baseball and football at the same time.
fuck's sakes, you are so annoying. That there's like there are people that like that work hard they get to that level and then work hard but don't get to that level. And the one thing that kind of like that where the difference lies is like there's knowing what your value is, right? If like LeBron James for some reason can't play, okay, that translates to a direct loss in ticket sales, right? And I'm just saying that like to the admiration for the status is not necessarily a bad thing either, because that's an acknowledgement of what your actual like financial worth is to a situation.
Sure. I mean, I get it. I just think, look, if on the grand scheme of things, like, yes, I think we're just very imbalanced.
Yeah, I feel
right.
you.
That there's so much favor on that far side of the scale, and
Yeah.
that's where my gripe is it's not. And again, I don't think any of those things are necessarily or intrinsically bad. What I think is that we're unhealthy. I think when we were kicking off, I said there's an unhealthy emphasis.
Right.
Right.
Social
I'm
media
thinking
does
about
not help that.
I'm thinking about balance.
Social
And-
media doesn't help.
And
that
so
at
I
all.
totally get it. Yeah, I agree with you. And I just think it's not as balanced as it could be. I think that balance would provide an equally valuable ladder to folks that have that potential in areas that they never discover in themselves because of the imbalance, right? So, like, let's say LeBron knows his worth, and I'm not picking on him. I think he's great and a good role model and gives back. And he's
was
from
great.
where a lot of my family in Ohio is from. Pretty sure it's Akron.
Akron. Yeah.
Correct.
Akron.
Akron. So, totally actually a fan of his. But what I'm saying is, like, yeah, but what about the value that someone who got discouraged and didn't find their way, maybe that was the mind or the creative spirit that some young lady could have developed to really push the needle forward for social justice, or that was the inspiration and grit that some young man needed to become, a physicist that was going to solve a really real problem for us, or that someone could have got into medical science and really done something fantastic, but because that value wasn't seen at an attribute level, it was seen at an end game level, that they didn't find their way through. Because there's also not a lot of, especially in all kind of areas of our, cultural and social structure, right? Those things get emphasized in different communities higher than others, and I think a lot of people have a opportunity where they may not be able to seize all the potential they have, and that's just one facet of it. That's probably a very oversimplified facet, but I think it's applicable to everyone. Is I just think our priorities are a little skewed.
Yeah, totally.
And again, not that those other things are bad, just that they're probably not as balanced as they could be.
Right. Yeah.
So every time I see such an emphasis on some of those things, I think, gosh, we could probably do better with balance.
Yin and yang.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, it's not the only answer, and it's not going to fix the world, but I think that's an easy thing we could reprioritize.
For sure.
We're going up on a grade right now that's been the most unpopular opinion out of the three.
Where are you at, Aaron?
Take money out of politics.
That's pretty popular.
That's popular.
That's
think-
popular.
I would be
I don't
running
know.
at the gate, man. I'd be running at the gate.
I don't know many conservatives or liberals that would argue that point, actually.
Oh, it's just, I don't know. That's the only thing I've been thinking about, because it's just like, I feel like we're just shooting ourselves.
No,
in
you
the
know
foot.
what? I'm gonna push back on this and say we need more money in politics.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah, come on and help us out. Give a contrast.
Yeah.
No, we need more. We need
You
more.
know what?
We need
I think we need to
more.
put sports and politics together and have teams.
You
like-
know what?
Yeah,
I
you know
love
what I
this
mean?
idea.
I heard there's two.
Yeah, well, no, but I'm saying
There's a-
like
Popular
we can
one.
have two
Stuff in there.
conferences without a doubt.
Yeah.
But like we need some fucking divisions in
No,
between.
I agree. You know what? Furthermore, I think that that if you want to be president of the United States, you gotta battle it out
Yeah.
in a fucking
Gladiator
Oh
style.
my
gladiator
gosh,
style,
you get a gladiator pit.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fuck
man.
yeah.
Well, that's
I can
about
see
what it's
that.
come down to.
Are you not entertained? 100%. Let's go.
And I'm saying, like, honestly, like, you get the way that you get training for that, and like you can really, like, is that you raise
The
funds.
the NBA.
Right? You raise funds.
Oh, no, you
so we
train. Oh,
keep
sorry.
money.
You train later. You train later.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
piggybacking on it. For
we
Ben's.
we raise funds,
Yeah, yeah.
right, in order to like as many funds as you can,
Yeah, yeah.
as much of the monies as you can.
They fight in space.
Well, you,
They fight in space. Now I like where this is going.
Because now we're gonna raise money for the actual arena.
You do like
Where does it
Marvel.
happen?
Yeah.
Does it happen in America?
fucking
do we do it in China or
moon.
do
No,
we do
the
it
only
on the
place,
moon?
the only
No.
impartial place it could happen is the International Space Station.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, ISS. 100%.
Or because no one owns Mars yet. Right?
That's
We could
true.
do Mars.
Well, I heard Elon
in
Musk
school
does, so-
suspension
Elon
is
Musk,
what just
yeah.
popped in my
Nice.
head.
First person to
So-
get there gets it. I'm pretty
All
sure.
right, so whoever raises the most money and wins gladiator battle is who becomes the president
No,
of,
because
the
that's-
world, really.
Well, what do you
Fuck
mean?
it.
Well, what are
That's-
the rules? Hang on, and like we are like totally just destroying your opinion. But what's the rules of the fucking battle?
No rules.
No,
You literally,
there's got to be rules.
You can literally take fucking.
There's rules in
like
fucking
a slab
warfare.
of cash and you just smack it across their face.
So we're
You're just like,
talking chemical warfare in this battle.
yeah, whatever you want.
That's insane.
If you can raise the funds to afford chemicals, then why
it's
not?
not expensive.
I'm saying
You know, they
like
used to do that, right?
hand to hand with weapons, and
Yeah,
there's
that's what
like
I'm trying to say.
tigers, just like Gladiator and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, if that's all you can. If that,
that's
you
my
know,
favorite fight. in
if
that
that's
movie.
all that you can afford, then yes, that's what you get.
I heard they used to do that, dude. I saw it in Hamilton.
I think it should be
All
like
right, saw it in Hamilton, bro.
What you know,
Just
and,
lined up and blasted each other.
and there is no more accurate representation of history than Hamilton.
think
I
it
mean,
sh-
that's what I heard. I heard it's pretty ironclad.
it should be something
Gettysburg
like out
was
of
like that.
They were all really good singers and dancers. It was sick.
yeah, they were all black too. While we're at
It was just great singers and dancers, and they just blasted each other.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Can you imagine dueling? Like, that was such a legit thing.
It
You're
was
like,
legit
Anton,
thing.
I don't like your opinion.
Yeah,
That sucks.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're like, oh, really?
a duel.
You're like, duel me then, bro.
That legit is how it happened. But
And I'm like, okay.
And I-
you pick the way, and then you're like, oh, can
And
you
I-
imagine?
and
I
I-
mean, geez.
I-
No,
you
It
know, I
sucks
can't.
about all
So-
these laws we have
Yeah.
now. It's fucking
you know what? No, Ben.
garbage.
I can imagine, and I'll take it further. I think that's what we should be doing right now.
No.
I think that we need
you
to
want to bring
raise.
dueling back?
Yo, yes.
That was the original cancel,
if,
bro.
If you,
This is the original cancel was the duel.
if you
You're
want,
like,
to-
I don't like the shit you say, boy.
if you,
yeah, and he's
if,
canceling.
Some
if
guy's
you-
like, what? You're like, let's do it out, man.
if you want
He's
to be
really
the-
looking forward to the whole Mad Max situation in the
If-
next decade.
if you, no, I'm saying if you want to be the commander in chief, the head of our military, you gotta be able to fucking throw down. Is all I'm saying.
Nah,
You know what I mean?
nah.
Fucking, if all you can afford is a fucking tiger and a spear, that's what you get. But if you can, Donald Trump this thing,
You gotta imagine
and
tigers
you
are
can get
expensive.
yourself some
Dark Knight style. It's just
chemical-
the broken pool cue, and you throw it in the middle between both of them.
Yeah, you know
There
what?
you go.
Yeah, that's the
That-
Batman. The
that's-
fucking, is that what's happening?
But if you can raise the funds, yeah, if you can like be Batman and you can like have all the money to fund
the
yourself,
Joker.
whatever.
That was
and you
what
can
he's
you can get
referencing.
chemical warfare and all that shit. Then you can use that against the douchebag. Who couldn't
Isn't
raise
that
enough
kind of
money.
what's just happening in the world right now?
So it's very
Whoever's
insensitive to
got the
current
most
events.
money,
Just-
like
you
owns
can-
the world.
You control the media to
Yeah,
sway
yeah, yeah.
the popular opinion.
No, the
to-
more we talk about it, I
make
feel like
this again.
maybe.
Be careful
Wow,
where this
lizard.
conversation is going, right?
Yeah.
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 This goes into all these territories that I
All
just,
I'm just doing
just
this
throwing-
I like how Aaron is like, he's like, you know what? You want to fuck my unpopular opinion? I'm gonna double down. Who controls the media, guys?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Oh my gosh.
unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
Who controls the media?
Yeah.
No,
All
all
right.
I think K Dubs already had a point about that a little while ago.
All right. Let's wrap this up, guys. Thank you so much for being on the podcast. As usual, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And make sure you guys check out the new Wigeon album.
Yeah. What's the name of the album?
Widget.
Yeah. Fucking
Self-titled.
self-titled albums always fucking crush it. Is
Wizard.
it like top 5 self-titled albums?
The Beatles.
Yeah, that's all I can think of too right now. Led
Let's-
Zeppelin,
let-
every single
oh,
Led
damn it,
Zeppelin
yeah.
album.
I
They
was
had
almost-
4, so that's 5. Here we go.
They had a lot of albums actually.
No, but they had Led Zeppelin 1, 2,
Yeah,
3.
3,
Okay.
4, yeah.
All right, if you want to.
Yeah. Anyways,
thought he was a musician.
Well,
but
yeah,
apparently not.
definitely, man. Thanks for having us, and we're excited, and hope you enjoy the tune. So go check it out.
Yeah.
everywhere you stream things.
and also the residency at Southern Grill.
Oh yeah.
First Thursday,
Every second Thursday of the month.
second Thursday of the month.
And then on the 5th, we're playing Malabackyard, which is a festival down in Malabar.
On the 5th of November.
5th of November.
This will not be out by then, I don't think.
Oh.
Right.
If he has anything to do with it, is what he's trying to say. But I'll
gonna get canceled.
I'll do my best to get.
Janice
Thanks.
will
Yeah,
know
thank you.
about this, Anton.
Well, she sounds like she sucks. So,
And it's Janet, but
Oh.
Janet.
Oh, my
I
bad.
thought it was Janice.
I thought it was Janice
No, it
too.
might have been.
'Cause I said Janet.
I don't even remember
I
anymore.
said Janet on the last one, and I got corrected
Yeah, I
by
thought it
both
was-
of you guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
on the
so
good
it's got to
list.
be Janice,
yeah.
huh?
So now
He remembers that. He doesn't remember what. He just remembers that one.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's got to be Janice. I don't know. We haven't been in touch very much.
Obviously.
This
Yeah,
is-
she's at your house for 4th of July, though.
I didn't have the headphones or anything, man.
I know.
This is a Mandela effect going on.
Yeah,
I love
that's what's
how like
happening.
we all took our headphones off and he's still wearing it.
I thought you had yours in.
I know.
Oh, you're trying to do. Okay. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Adios, muchachos.
Adios.
Adios.